Mr. Speaker, it is unfortunate that, you know, the East African Customs Protocol was signed many years ago. And up to date, some of the member states don't want this thing to be implemented. You have our brothers in Tanzania, let me mention that side. Because, Mr. Speaker, you can never practice in Tanzania. But Kenya has around experts. Whatever profession you have, you can come from Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, now Somalia also, Sudan, South Sudan, and practice in Kenya. Even presenting a citizen of Uganda. The other day is a problem with our sister lawyer, Mother Karua Senior. Because, Mr. Speaker, whatever we agree, countries don't want to implement those issues. Mr. Speaker, let this be, maybe since we're in Busia, let us sort out this problem in Maraba and Busia Mbunda. And Mr. Speaker, these challenges are very minor. One is about the road, which even yesterday we agreed this road should be fixed so that, Mr. Speaker, the efficiency can be observed. If it is the scanners, the lack of staff, enough staff, we have so many Kenyans who are languishing, even in these streets of Busia, who can even support to work at these border posts, Mr. Speaker, and also expand the Maraba border works at 4.2 hectares of land. There is no space even for these trucks, Mr. Speaker. So I think let this motion come up with a good resolution. We agree as the Senate and make sure that everything in these border posts lands smoothly, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Oburu Odinga.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, this is an area where I'm very sure you are very much aware. This is an area.
Get anybody listen, and they know, because successive administration and the Kenya National Highway Authority to develop and present a comprehensive action plan within 90 days to address the infrastructure and operational bottlenecks at the Busia and Malaba border posts. Kenya and the KRA to fast-track the expansion of access roads, increase the number of functional cargo scanners, and establish dedicated clearance lanes for perishable goods and transit cargo to decongest border points. 3, the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives and the Ministry of East African Community, the arid and semi-arid lands and regional development to intensify bilateral and EAC level engagements with counterpart ministry to ensure full harmonization and realization of the one-stop border post concept. 4, the Ministry of Roads and Transport and the Kenya National Highway Authority to prioritize and fast-track the completion of the supporting road and rail infrastructure, such as the dualling of the highway from Malaba to interior, to ensure that gains at the border are not lost to domestic logistical bottlenecks. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements. Order
Next
number
order.
8, motion addressing systematic challenges at the Busia-Malaba border posts to enhance Kenya's competitiveness and regional integration.
The Senate Majority Leader, you may now move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to move the following motion on addressing systemic challenges at the Busia to enhance Kenya's competitiveness and regional integration. Mr. Speaker, sir, aware that the existing policy frameworks, including the East African Community Customs Management Act, the EAC Common Market Protocol, and Kenya's National Trade Policy, advocate for simplification and harmonization of customs procedures and elimination of non-tariff barriers, noting that the Busia and Malaba border posts are critical gateways for regional trade, handling a significant portion of Kenya's commerce with Uganda and other East African Community partner states. Thus, the efficient operation of border posts is critical for national revenue collection, trade facilitation, and the economic well-being of the public, and more so residents of Busia. Further noting that the various challenges continue to impede operations at these borders, particularly at Malaba border, such as severe congestion, inadequate human resource, inadequate infrastructure, including narrow roads, and insufficient cargo scanners, and delays in customs processing due to duplication of roles and multiple agency checks, thus increasing the cost of doing business, leading to spoiling of perishable goods and undermining regional and economic integration efforts. Concerned that there are several stalled projects, namely the underutilized Mundika and Malaba trailer parks, 200-acre undeveloped parcel of public land at Gelechom, amongst others, thus exacerbating congestion at and representing a significant waste of public resources. Further concerned that these persistent challenges undermine the goals of the EAC Common Market Protocol by impeding smooth flow of goods, creating an unlevel playing field for Kenya's businesses, and hindering regional and economic integration, thereby resulting in the loss of potential revenue, business opportunities, and economic vitality for Kenya. Cognizant that the urgent, decisive intervention is required to streamline operations, modernize infrastructure, harmonize policies to restore Kenya's economic competitive edge, and fully realize the benefits of the East African community. Now, therefore, the Senate resolves as follows. The National Treasury, the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, and the Ministry of East African Community, the Arid and Semi-Arid Lands, and Regional Development, in collaboration with Kenya Revenue Authority and the Kenya National Highways Authority, to develop and present a comprehensive plan within 90 days to address the infrastructure and operational bottlenecks at the Malaba border post. Kenya National Highway Authority and the KRA to fast-track the expansion of access roads, increase the number of functional cargo scanners, and establish dedicated clearance lanes for perishable goods and transit cargo to decongest border points. 3, the Ministry of Trade, Industry, Cooperatives, and the Ministry of East African Community, Arid and Semi-Arid Lands, and Regional Development to intensify bilateral EAC-level engagements with counterpart ministry to ensure full harmonization and realization of the one-stop border post concept. And lastly, the Ministry of Roads, Transport, and the Kenya National Highway Authority to prioritize and fast-track the completion of the supporting road and rail infrastructure, such as the dualling of the highway from Malaba to the interior, to ensure the gains at the border are not lost to domestic logistical bottlenecks. Mr. Speaker, yesterday in the afternoon, when our colleagues engaged in a debate here on what exactly is a challenge at the Busia and Malaba border post, I did notify the House that at SPC, we had made a decision, conscious of the fact that we are operating from the county of Busia this week, Mr. Speaker, to request that our Committee on Trade leads the way in guiding this House, Mr. Speaker, into trying to make headroom in resolving this challenge that appears to be too huge a challenge for any government actually to overcome, because successive administrations of the years from 1963 have never resolved this challenge, and it appears to be getting worse by the day, Mr. Speaker, with the increase in population in the two neighboring countries, and therefore the greater need for trade between the two countries. Yet if you come here, despite the fact that we're in the 21st century, Mr. Speaker, you'll be shocked that you are behaving like ancient creatures, trucks queuing all the way, sometimes to 3, 4, 5 kilometers, or even beyond, Mr. Speaker, waiting to be cleared. Yet nobody is asking us, Mr. Speaker, as a country, both on our side and on the neighboring side, on the side of Uganda, to reinvent the wheel. The solutions exist, Mr. Speaker. Nobody is asking of us to derive any formula that is non-existent. These are things that have been done in other parts of the country, yet for a very strange reason, Mr. Speaker, we are just simply unable to do it. It is unfortunate, Mr. Speaker, what is happening at the Malaba and Busia border post. And I look forward to listening to the facts that have so far been established by a trade committee. And I think the National Cohesion Committee as well visited that, the Malaba border post yesterday, Mr. Speaker. And it's really unfortunate that in the 21st century, we are having a discussion with government agencies that should otherwise have resolved this mess a long time. I have seen successive government ministers come here. This story of one border post stop, Mr. Speaker, I started hearing it when I was in high school, many, many years ago. And now I'm here in Parliament, and we're still talking about it, that it's a concept that is available on paper, but in practice, it doesn't exist. It's unfortunate that we have created bottlenecks, Mr. Speaker, that actually form ripe ground for corruption to thrive. I am a frequent user of this border because I have things that I do in Uganda. And each time I pass on this border post, Mr. Speaker, of course, because of the position of privilege that you occupy, by the time you arrive here, mostly they will have known that so-and-so is coming. Therefore, by the time you arrive, your passport, they have collected it. Within 2 minutes, you're on your way off. But that's not the experience that the rest of Kenyans have to follow. And it's unfortunate, Mr. Speaker, that we have normalized making exceptional solutions for the leaders, the people who in the first place should have solved the problem, Mr. Speaker. And we have accommodated that to be part and parcel of our culture and how we want to run a country, Mr. Speaker. We should make this thing work to the level of the efficiency that if today, the Speaker, you said you wanted to have a meeting in Jinja, the same way they'll clear you and move you with speed is the same speed that we expect a truck driver that has driven for more than 12 hours from Mombasa, from the port of Mombasa, and still has another 7 or 8 hours driving all the way to the north of Uganda to deliver whatever goods and services that are destined in that part of the country. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to urge colleagues to share their thoughts and experiences. Senator, I think one of our colleagues here was asking me, after we speak, what happens? And I reject that defeatist ideology, Mr. Speaker, because I believe, first of all, Parliament never speaks out of idleness. Mr. Speaker, when Parliament speaks, the right people listen, and they know that which needs to be done. Secondly, Parliament is a house of representatives. Those people that are stuck there, most of the time, they are drivers from all the 47 counties, for example. Therefore, they are our employers, by and large. The people that vote for us to come to this august house, and they expect that somebody will speak for them, Mr. Speaker. I don't know what is it that makes it so difficult. Perhaps maybe those that visited the border post this morning, we were being told, Mr. Speaker, I don't know why, whether by design or some conspiracy, that only the slightly elderly senators managed to wake up at 7:30 and were at Busia. All the young men, Mr. Speaker, nobody, Mr. Speaker, nobody arrived in time. So I want to congratulate Mr. Speaker, all the elderly senators that woke up.
May the majority leader be heard in silence.
All
Proceed,
this,
majority leader. Order, Senator Fernandi. Majority leader, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for protecting
Order,
me.
Senator Fernandi.
You know the,
Senator Fernandi.
you know,
Order.
you know the guilty are always afraid, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker,
Proceed, majority leader.
so the point that I want to make, Mr. Speaker, is that I really look forward to listening to the elderly senators that made time to visit Malaba border post. In fact, what I will do, Mr. Speaker, because I am as guilty as charged, over lunch hour, I'll forego lunch, Mr. Speaker, to go to Malaba border post, together with all the young members of the House, Mr. Speaker, who could not wake up at 7:30. Those who that made it, Mr. Speaker, we appreciate, Mr. Speaker. The point that I'm trying to make, if you've traveled across Europe, for example, Mr. Speaker, you know that the European Union custom practices, which we have borrowed so heavily from in the ESC protocols, Mr. Speaker, so long as either as an individual, as a good, as a service, you are into one of the territories, you move as freely as possible, Mr. Speaker, within all the member states. That is a vision that East African community has had since the days of President Moi, to the best of my recollection, Mr. Speaker. But nobody has ever checked and succeeded in moving this and making it a reality. The people of Uganda, the people of Tanzania, and all these other regions, Mr. Speaker, we are one people. We are separated by geographical boundaries that we never even participated in drawing, Mr. Speaker, that were drawn up in lands so far away. Yet we want to stick and adhere to them so much, Mr. Speaker, that we are making it difficult for us to trade and do business. You remember, Mr. Speaker, that in the year 2023, for example, after the signing of the ACFTA protocol, that the president flagged off the first commodities to be traded within the African continental free trade area. The tea that left KICC took 3 months to get to Accra. What kind of business? Who will accept to participate in such kind of a trade, Mr. Speaker? Unless we as parliamentarians, we as policy makers, the decision makers are intentional, Mr. Speaker, about speaking about these issues, engaging our colleagues, including, Mr. Speaker, our colleagues in the parliaments of East Africa. We are about to go to Uganda, Mr. Speaker, for the East African Parliamentary Games. And many times when we are engaging with our colleagues, we always remind ourselves that we need to integrate, deepen, and do all those things, Mr. Speaker. But beyond the sports, Mr. Speaker, I believe it is time that we have this conversation at leadership level, Mr. Speaker, and ask ourselves, surely, are we this efficient? Can't we do better, Mr. Speaker, than the things that we see at Malaba? Why are we behaving like ancient creatures, Mr. Speaker? Yet the technology is available. For a truck to be cleared in one stop, Mr. Speaker, from Mombasa and head all the way to within the East African community without all this nonsense of being stopped here and scanners and the rest, Mr. Speaker. Because we know that the technology exists, Mr. Speaker, to track a truck driver, to know whether they stopped somewhere, whether they loaded or offloaded, Mr. Speaker, the goods that they are carrying, whether they have misdeclared. All these fears that we have that are creating these bottlenecks, Mr. Speaker, there exist mechanisms and the technology to ensure that you beat that which you fear as a country, Mr. Speaker. Yet somehow, some way, we are unable to address those things. See the resolutions that we are even asking some of our agencies like KRA, Mr. Speaker, that just have scanners at work. Mr. Speaker, I don't know, but I suspect that maybe later on when we visit the second batch that is visiting, because the earlier batch that visited, much as we appreciate them for their industry, Mr. Speaker, if they were shown a dead scanner, Mr. Speaker, and all it needed is to power it on, chances are, Mr. Speaker, that they may not have realized that it's only an issue of powering it on, Mr. Speaker. But I believe that the second lot that will go over lunch hour, Mr. Speaker, you need to check why is it that these scanners never work, necessitating the need for people to move with paperwork. You'll find, if you go to this border post right now, Mr. Speaker, you'll find people that are trading and doing business there. You know, they carry paperwork from this side of Kenya and run to the other side of Uganda. Within 5 or 10 minutes, they have cleared or whatever. Then you're told, oh, move, move. There's no order here, Mr. Speaker. The land that had been set aside, I don't know, for 20 years, this truck parking space in Ngelechon, Mr. Speaker. These are stories we've heard from, I don't know, as early as, I don't know which year, that, oh, there's a truck parking place that will ensure that there is safety, that the trucks are parked in a nice, decent way. I shudder to imagine, Mr. Speaker, what will happen, for example, with all these trucks that are full of petrol, Mr. Speaker. If there'd be a mishap and one truck rams into another and they created a fire, imagine what will happen to all these that are queuing up here. The dangers to members of the public, to society, Mr. Speaker, to young children that live within this area, just simply because we cannot get our act together. These are issues that we must speak about. I know that in any part of an African society, when you see things not working, it's not because they cannot work. It's because they've been designed not to work so that people profit out of it, Mr. Speaker. But we must be bold enough as a House of Parliament, Mr. Speaker, and look straight in the eye of all these government agencies that have been fingered in this report, Mr. Speaker, from KRA to Kenya, to Ministry of Transport, Mr. Speaker, to the EAC, State Department, Mr. Speaker, and ask of them that please get your act together. You cannot continue to treat East African citizens to this level of mismanagement and expect that we shall be a thriving economy. Who will invest here, Mr. Speaker? In a country where, you know, we market ourselves. I have seen presentations being done each time when our heads of states meet in Arusha, that, oh, this is a community with people over 250 million. Which 250 million, Mr. Speaker? While you know very well that if you manufacture in one of the partner states, to move that good from the partner state to the next, it is hell on earth, Mr. Speaker. Then we cannot call ourselves an integrated community, Mr. Speaker, until we make it possible for anybody to market, anybody to produce and move with ease as we desire. And unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, what you see here in Busia, what you see in Malaba, is the same situation in Namanga, in Isabania, in all these other places, Mr. Speaker. And it's really unfortunate. I want to urge the members of the Trade Committee, members of Transport Committee, that have better and finer details on this topic, Mr. Speaker, that you speak up actually on this matter, that beyond just raising our voices here in Busia, even as we return back to Nairobi, engage these decision makers, KRA, Ministry of Finance, Mr. Speaker. This motion is calling on them to feed this institution with a 90-day rapid plan on how this can be concluded, Mr. Speaker, so that even counties can benefit as well. There was a conversation yesterday about how Busia as a county can tap into the opportunities that exist therein. But there is no business opportunity with this level of disorganization, Mr. Speaker. By the time people get here, they are tired, they are frustrated, they are angry, Mr. Speaker. They don't even want to trade with you, Mr. Speaker. Kenya leads the way in this EAC community, Mr. Speaker. And whenever we do our things correctly, the rest of the partner states are pushed actually by their citizens to replicate what Kenya is doing. Kenya is a small superpower of this region. And if we lead in mediocrity, the rest actually, most of the time, will actually follow and accept that that is an acceptable standard of practice or doing things in this region, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, as a Senate, we must lead the way in demanding better of our government, demanding better of the state agencies that handle all these border posts, not just Busia and Malaba. This is just one example of the many border posts that continue to struggle with these bottlenecks and difficulties of doing business, Mr. Speaker, in a way that once we clear it, then we expect that our minister, the president, and all these people will lead the way in demanding of the same from the rest of the EAC partner states, Mr. Speaker. But we cannot do that when we don't have a good example ourselves to show out of what is happening. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to urge that colleagues take time to speak to these issues, provide solution, and guide this House in making a resolution of this matter. With those very many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to move and request the Senator for Kilifi, the Senate Minority Leader, Mr. Speaker, to second this motion. I thank you.
Senator for Kilifi County, you may proceed to second motion.
Asante mstahiki Spika. Mstahiki Spika, kwanza nataka kuunga mkono yale yote ambayo yamesemwa hapa na kiongozi walio wengi. Jambo muhimu kuhusikana na ushirikiano huu wa mataifa yote ndani ya Afrika Mashariki ni kwamba Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi na Sudan, ambao ni Sudan ya Kusini, na pia Sudan ya North, sijui inaitwa nini, kaskazini. Spika, ni nchi ambazo zinakaribiana. Tukiangalia mataifa yote katika ulimwengu, hata ukisikia ile wanaita European Union, ni kwamba nchi zote ambazo ziko pamoja huwa wanafanya biashara zao, uhusiano mwema na siasa zao, kila kitu wanafanya pamoja. Nimewahi kufika katika nchi za kule Europa. Bwana Spika, utaona ya kwamba nchi za kule unaweza kutoka Netherlands ukaingia Denmark, ukaingia nchi zingine hapo katikati, na utaona ya kwamba ufasihi wao ule ambao wanaweza kuzunguka katika zile nchi zao hauna shida kabisa. Lakini jambo la kusikitisha ni sisi hapa kama wana wa Afrika Mashariki ni kwamba nchi zetu zinakuwa na sheria tofauti tofauti ambazo zinapinga mambo ya biashara, zingine wananchi kuishi pamoja. Nakumbuka mimi mwenyewe nilikuwa mwenyekiti na hii East African Protocol, mimi nikiwa kama mwenyekiti wa hiyo kamati ambayo ilikuwa umechagua wewe mwenyewe, na wakati huo mimi nikiwa judge wa mahakama kuu ya Kenya. Niliketia nikawa mwenyekiti kwa hiyo East African Protocol, na tulifanya hiyo sheria, na tuliona ya kwamba ni lazima iwe na uzoefu ama urahisi wa kuona ya kwamba watu wanaoishi katika Afrika Mashariki, Bwana Spika, wanaweza kutembea. Ukitoka hapa ukienda Uganda, ukitaka kwenda Rwanda, ukitaka kwenda Burundi, ukitaka kufanya biashara zako, ukitaka kwenda kuishi ama kuolewa ama kufanya chochote vyote, iwe rahisi. Bwana Spika, sheria kama hiyo ilisaidia sana, na mimi nataka kushukuru ya kwamba kuona hivi sasa kwamba watu wa Afrika Mashariki wanaweza kushirikiana ni jambo zuri. Na hivi sasa kumetokea sintofahamu nyingi. Unapata saa nyingine watu wetu wa Afrika Mashariki wakiweza kushirikiana, Bwana Spika, wengine unaona wanashikwa kwa sababu sisi tumezoea katika nchi yetu ya Kenya ya kwamba tunakuwa na uhuru wa kuongea vile tunavyotaka. Lakini sasa wanaharakati wetu wakifika mahali kama pengine Uganda wanashikwa, wanatiwa ndani. Hiyo si sawa sawa. Na tunasema kwamba katika nchi zetu sisi tuwe watu ambao tunaweza kusikiza na kusikizana katika njia tofauti tofauti za biashara, za siasa, za maendeleo ya mbalimbali. Bwana Spika, huu ni mswada mzuri sana, na mimi nataka kuunga mkono yote ambao yameweza kuongeleshwa, na hii ni dalili nzuri ya mawasiliano. Asante Bwana Spika.
Now, honorable senators, I would wish now to propose the question, which is that aware that the existing policy frameworks, including the East African Community Customs Management Act, the EAC Common Market Protocol, the Kenya's National Trade Policy, advocate for the simplification and harmonization of customs procedures and the elimination of non-tariff barriers, noting that the Busia and Malaba border posts are critical gateways for regional trade, handling a significant portion of Kenya's commerce with Uganda and other East African Community partner states. Thus, the efficient operation of border posts is critical for national revenue collection, trade facilitation, and the economic well-being of the public and more so residents of Busia. Further, noting that various challenges continue to impede operations at these borders, particularly at Malaba border, such as severe congestion, inadequate human resource, inadequate infrastructure, including narrow roads and insufficient cargo scanners, and delays in customs processing due to duplication of rules and multiple agency checks, thus increasing the cost of doing business, leading to spoiling of perishable goods and undermining regional economic integration efforts. Concerned that there are several stalled projects, namely the underutilized Mundika and Malaba trailer parks, 200-acre undeveloped parcel of public land, and Gelechom, amongst others, thus exacerbating congestion and representing a significant waste of public resources. Further, concerned that these persistent challenges undermine the goals of the East African Community EAC Common Market Protocol by impeding the smooth flow of goods, creating an unlevel playing field for Kenyan businesses, and hindering regional economic integration, thereby resulting in loss of potential revenue, business opportunities, and economic vitality for Kenya. Cognizant that urgent and decisive intervention is required to streamline operations, modernize infrastructure, and harmonize policies to restore Kenya's competitive edge and fully realize the benefits of the East African community. Now, therefore, the Senate resolves as follows. 1. The National Treasury, the Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, and the Minister of East African Community, the arid and semi-arid lands and regional development, in collaboration with the Kenya Revenue Authority and the Kenya National Highways Authority, to develop and present a comprehensive action plan within 90 days to address the infrastructure and operational bottlenecks at the Busia and Malaba border posts. The Kenya and KRA to fast-track the expansion of access roads, increase the number of functional cargo scanners, and establish dedicated clearance lanes for perishable goods and transit cargo to decongest the border posts. 3. The Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, and the Minister of East African Community, and the arid and semi-arid lands and regional development to intensify bilateral at the ESC level engagements with the counterpart ministry to ensure full harmonization and realization of the one-stop border post concept. And 4, the Ministry of Roads and Transport and the Kenya National Highways Authority to prioritize and fast-track the completion of the supporting road and the rail infrastructure, such as the dualling of the highway from Malaba to the interior, to ensure that gains at the border are not lost to domestic logistical bottlenecks. Now, the floor is open. You know exactly what to do to catch the Speaker's eye. Senator Ledama.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Sir.
What is out of order about the chair?
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you know this issue will really generate a lot of interest. And all of us will wish to speak, Mr. Speaker. So I was requesting whether you can limit the speaking time maybe to a reasonable 5 minutes, so that as many as possible senators can be able to contribute, sir.
No, honorable senators, we do not need to go through the steps of processing that motion as proposed by the Deputy Speaker. If he can strike a consensus on the number of minutes each senator will utilize once they get the floor. 5 minutes it is. Senator Ledama, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the motion addressing systemic challenges at the Busia-Malaba border post to enhance Kenyan competitiveness and regional integration. Mr. Speaker, it is important for us to demystify what these challenges are. I was listening to the majority leader when he was moving the motion, and he outlined the challenges. And I think sometimes when we simplify them is when we can actually be able to get the right solution. The challenges, Mr. Speaker, that the majority leader has outlined is, one, outdated infrastructure. You know, I heard him say that the older generation may not understand why a scanner does not work. Maybe it simply needs to be switched on and off for it to be able to work. Mr. Speaker, the majority leader also outlined the biggest challenge, which is the lack of efficiency at the border point, leading to the rotting of perishable goods that are moving between the two countries, Kenya and Uganda. Mr. Speaker, as a farmer, I understand the dangers and the challenges of these systemic problems, and we must address them. If you sit with the President of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the only talk that he will give you has got to do with the need for us to speed up the East African Community Federation, to make it easy for us to be able to trade between the two countries. I don't understand why it is taking us so long. The majority leader has adequately said that this challenge has been there from different governments, started from the Kenyatta government, came to the Moi government, went to the Mwai Kibaki government, then to the Uhuru government. I think if there's any government that can now resolve this problem, is this government. A government that is made up of young people, people who understand the dangers of living in a country or in a region where you can simply walk from Busia in Kenya to Busia in Uganda. Just walk. But if you dare take a flight from Uganda to Nairobi, you will pay a minimum of 100,000 shillings. The same distance, which is from Nairobi to Mombasa, you would pay about 25,000 shillings. So the question that now I put out here for us to ask ourselves is, are we being fair to the business community? If your goods are rotting on the road just because of inefficiency, are we ever going to get out of this business of playing second fiddle to the developed nation? I think it's about time, ladies and gentlemen, that we really move forward, pass this motion, and ensure that those things are actually resolved. And what is it that we can actually do? The first thing, Mr. Speaker, because I see the time is running, is that all of us, between, particularly policymakers of both countries, we must all be educated on the need of enhancing trade between these two countries. The majority leader has said that he buys quite a lot from Uganda. I'm also a consumer of a lot of goods from Uganda. I buy a lot of animal feeds, and I go through the same hurdles. Sometimes my trucks are delayed at the border point for 2 days, and it affects. You don't want to live in a cow barn or to go and sit in a cow barn where the cows do not have food. You will cry yourself. So if you can cry when you see the cows are crying because they have no food, what about people who have got to work, travel, sleep on those trucks just because of inefficiency? Mr. Speaker, I really...
One minute.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I really hope that we now move expeditiously, because Parliament pronounces itself through motions and bills. This motion must now be fully implemented. And the issue here are very clear. The systemic problems have been outlined. It doesn't matter how many times we say, outdated equipment. Can we enhance them? Can we now push to ensure that we finalize this East African Federation? That is the only way we can be able to solve it. If you compare the Gisenyi-Goma border, Rwanda and DRC, you will see that it is like night and day. I want to invite you to go to Rwanda and go across to Gisenyi border and compare it with Goma. You will see the difference between those who are determined to move into the 21st century together and those who are still sleeping in the land full of corruption and who still want to live in the older centuries. So, Mr. Speaker, this motion is very important. And now that we're here, can we come up with a way, Majority Leader, that we implement the resolution of this Senate? Thank you.
Senator Omatinga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me an opportunity also to add my voice to this very, very important motion. As I always support, Mr. Speaker, I must say that it is time, Mr. Speaker, that we as a country leverage technology that we have to ensure that we get some of these things done. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, allow me also to say that indeed, being an elderly senator, and what the majority leader said that we may not be able to know what needs to be done, Mr. Speaker, I want to disabuse that statement and say we understand technology and we know what needs to be done, and that's why, because we put this country first we woke up very early to ensure that we went to the border to make sure that, Mr. Speaker, we get this thing done, Mr. Speaker, because the younger senators, as they enjoy and sleep, we, the elderly, must make sure that this country moves in the right direction. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, it is imperative, Mr. Speaker, to note that.
Senator Fernandi, what is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, is it in order understanding 105 for the great Senator Wamatinga to lie, yet I sat next to him? Kwani are we all? Senator Kituku was here, I was here, Senator Kituku was there. Mr. Speaker, can they just make things that are factual instead of misleading the House?
Order, order, honorable senators. Order, honorable senators. Senator Wamatinga. Senator Wamatinga, don't use age to describe who attended, who did not attend.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, well guided. I'm not sure whether Senator Chelage feels old, but having said that, Mr. Speaker, indeed, it is very important that we get this thing right. Mr. Speaker, sir, I do remember one of the issues that was raised as we visited the border point is about the social amenities, about areas where the drivers drive for long hours where they can get to relax. I do remember, Mr. Speaker, one of the motions that I moved in this House while I was still very, very new was about having these service points in our highways, Mr. Speaker. I'm happy again that this has come up again, and I think it is imperative while we sit here in Busia to say that we must get it right. Mr. Speaker, the amount of revenue that we collect in these border points, when streamlined, Mr. Speaker, we can collect far much more. But, Mr. Speaker, it is also imperative that we know that we have an East African region that we want to bring into one region. Therefore, the movement of goods, Mr. Speaker, the movement of people, Mr. Speaker, and services, we can be able to align them with the modern technology so that when somebody leaves a factory, when a truck leaves a factory, Mr. Speaker, it is known the amount of good it's carrying, it is known where the destiny is, and, Mr. Speaker, we can have a border point on the go where you do not need to stop for the control, Mr. Speaker. This, Mr. Speaker, using modern technology can be done. Then, Mr. Speaker, I think it is also important that we also introduce a kind of a mechanism that will ensure that those who cheat, those transport companies who cheat, Mr. Speaker, they're earmarked, and then we can have also, as it is in Europe, random checks so that we do not have to stop all the trucks on the way. This, Mr. Speaker, will save on time. This, Mr. Speaker, will save on the efficiency and will improve the profit margins of the businesses and therefore bringing the cost of some of these things down, Mr. Speaker. This, Mr. Speaker, we do not need to rediscover the wheel. It is being done across the board in Europe. It's being done in many other regions. And, Mr. Speaker, all we need to do is to introduce a standard operating system where you know the goods are being loaded in a certain truck. We know the weight of these goods. We know the weight of the truck. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, on the go, we would have a high-speed, what you'd call a toll station, that a truck even driving at a speed of 60, 70, 80 is known. This truck is still having the same weight that it was having from the source. This, Mr. Speaker, will ensure that we do not have those drivers who may want to cheat off road and sell some of the goods or add some goods because we can have a control mechanism on that. Mr. Speaker, having said that, we also saw the scanners and we were told that right now it is taking about 10 minutes for the people to analyze the scanned images in Nairobi. If we leverage artificial intelligence, Mr. Speaker, that can be real time. The scan is made at the same time an analysis is generated, as is being done in the medical field. This, Mr. Speaker, is not rocket science. All we need to do is to improve among the ministries, among the departments that are involved, so that, Mr. Speaker, we can integrate this into the system. And this, Mr. Speaker, will ensure that we reduce the amount of those drivers, those transporters who may want to cheat. Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, it is also imperative we ask ourselves, where do we want to see ourselves as a region, Mr. Speaker? As we try to encourage this East African integration, we'll have more people travel across borders, we'll have more manufacturers and more industrialists work across the border. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, as we develop the standard operating procedures, Mr. Speaker, it is important to look at what other economic blocs are doing. And this, Mr. Speaker, must be done with one thing at the back of mind, to increase the profitability of the business, to reduce wastages, and most importantly, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that the services that are offered at the border point are available at all times. It was released, Mr. Speaker, that some of the government departments are only available from 8 to 5 and from Monday to Friday. Mr. Speaker, it is such a sad affair that a transporter will have
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. It is so unfortunate that we have to have someone to wait for 48 hours because an employee of the government is only available from 8 to 5 and from Monday to Friday. Mr. Speaker, we must ensure that all these services are available 24 hours, 7 days a week, so that we do not affect the profitability of those doing business across the border. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Senator Faki.
Kwa kunipa fursa hii kuchangia hoja ya kiongozi wa wengi kuhusiana na huduma katika kituo cha Busia na vituo vingine vya mipaka ya Kenya na nchi nyingine za Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki. Mheshimiwa Spika, imekuwa ni donda sugu kwamba kuna utepetevu na kucheleweshwa kwa wafanyabiashara ambao wanatumia mipaka ya Busia, Malaba na Manga na hata vile vile Lungalunga kule pwani. Mheshimiwa Spika, japokuwa tumekuwa na East African Community, Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki kwa zaidi ya miaka 20, matunda yake Mheshimiwa Spika hayajaonekana. Tumekuwa tukitupatupa mikono kizani bila ya kujua ni kitu gani ambacho tunafanya. Mheshimiwa Spika, wale ambao wamebahatika kuzuru mpaka wa Busia hivi asubuhi, mbali na msongamano Mheshimiwa Spika, hata vyoo pale katika mpaka ule Mheshimiwa Spika hakuna vya kutosha vya kuhudumia madereva ama wale watu ambao wanapita wanatumia mpaka ule kila siku. Mheshimiwa Spika, madereva wengi huwa wamesafiri kwa mwendo mrefu na hawana huduma zozote ambazo wanapata katika barabara zetu. Tukiangalia Mheshimiwa Spika, barabara zenyewe ni nyembamba, magari mawili hayawezi kupishana bila ya moja kushuka chini, wakati hapa ndio mpakani tunaingia Kenya. Mheshimiwa Spika, inavyotakikana Mheshimiwa Spika ni kwamba barabara hapa zingekuwa ni kubwa, mahali pakubwa pa kuweza kuegesha magari watu wakisubiri huduma za mpaka, na vile vile kuwe na sehemu ambazo wananchi ama wale madereva ama wahusika wanaweza kupata mapumziko. Nilifanya mswada Mheshimiwa Spika wa kutaka kuwekwa vituo maalumu katika barabara zetu kuu ili dereva aweze kupata kupumzika, kuwe na huduma za ambulance pale, kuwe na huduma za zimamoto na huduma nyingine za kijamii katika barabara zetu kuu Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa sababu tumeona kuna sehemu kupata fire na barabara nyingi ama zimamoto na barabara nyingi Mheshimiwa Spika ziko mbali na vituo vya mji. Kwa mfano, juzi kumetokea ajali kule Kilifi, imekuwa ni shida kupata fire kutoka Malindi mjini kuja kuzima moto sehemu za Mtwapa. Kwa Mheshimiwa Spika, ipo haja kubwa ya kuweza kuhakikisha kwamba hizi huduma ambazo zinatolewa katika vituo vya mipaka ni huduma ambazo zinastahili kupatikana katika sehemu zile. Mipaka mingi Mheshimiwa Spika, ukienda sehemu za Ulaya utapata kwamba ni ile tunaweza kusema seamless, yani hakuna pingamizi yoyote, unaingia mpaka mmoja kwenda mpaka mwingine bila matatizo yoyote. Lakini hapa kwetu Mheshimiwa Spika imekuwa ni donda sugu. Tulianza katika jumuiya ya kwanza ambayo ilifariki mwaka 1977, tukaanza nyingine ya hayati Moi na mwenda zake Ali Hassan Mwinyi na Museveni, Rais Museveni bado yuko, lakini bado jumuiya haijaweza kufanya kazi, Mheshimiwa Spika. Zaidi ya miaka 20 sasa, wakati jumuiya ya Ulaya ilikuja nyuma sana baada yetu na inafanya kazi bila matatizo yote. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, mbali na kusema hapa, ipo haja ya wale maafisa wahusika kuhakikisha kwamba hivi vituo vinafanya kazi, kwa sababu vituo vikifanya kazi, mapato yataongezeka, mazao yataweza kuongezeka, kwa sababu kutakuwa na haja ya watu kukuza mazao zaidi ili waweze kuuza katika masoko ambayo yako. Lakini kwa sasa Mheshimiwa Spika, ni kunyanya sana katika sehemu nyingi za mipaka. Watu wengi wanapoteza wakati pale, wanapoteza masaa, madereva wanapata shida, kwa sababu mara nyingi mizigo haifiki kwa wakati unaotakikana. Hata kama tutaweza kujenga vituo zaidi kama hicho ambacho kimekwama hapa, itakuwa haina faida Mheshimiwa Spika, wakati huduma zenyewe si za kisasa.
Senator Abbas.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable, I want to join my colleagues also to add on this motion, which is actually the right time. Honorable Speaker, one thing I found is that actually this country, we always say that we are the economic giant of this region. But however, when you go to the borders, if you look at the flow of vehicles and carrying goods, there's a lot of trade imbalance. One thing I've realized is last time I was in Tanzania, the fleets of vehicles that are coming and waiting at the border point for clearance from Tanzania is just so huge. All carrying goods, especially cereals and all this, and timber and all this. But when you look at the side of Kenya, the flow is very small. The number of vehicles are very few. That shows that in Kenya, we are actually disadvantaged in terms of trade in East African community. And I think, I don't know, in a country where there is food scarcity, then you cannot be able to be proud of being the economic giant of this country, of this nation, this region. The cereals and the food that comes from Tanzania and Uganda is unbelievable. One other thing, Honorable Speaker, is that even in passenger-wise, I think I've been going around the last night, and the number of vehicles that are going to Uganda, the buses are actually very few also. So that means there are more people coming from Tanzania, from Uganda, than going to Uganda. That shows actually the Ugandans are doing more business with the Kenyans than Kenya going there and getting goods from them. Honorable Speaker, I was there this morning, and I think I attest that Mr. Sheregei was with me actually. He was there. I want to confirm to the House that he was not among the young men who slept, but he was there. One other thing, Honorable Speaker, is that the roads are just too narrow. These vehicles are huge. They carry goods, heavy goods. And you see the road from Kisumu to Busia is in a very bad condition. The night I traveled from Kisumu, I was shocked. The vehicles almost hitting one another and colliding on one another. There are so many potholes. This is actually the lifeline. Our economic lifeline is this road. Mombasa, Busia, Nairobi, Busia. This is actually the roads that are supposed to be made and repaired every one given time so that we can have more goods and the vehicles can be moving faster. Then how it is now, those roads are so poor that vehicles take too long, other than staying long along the border lines. Even along the road, these vehicles actually take more time than expected. Honorable Speaker, I think one other thing is the welfare of the drivers and the passengers. Honorable Speaker, there are no proper ablution places, where place for resting. You know, you have to motivate our drivers who are long-distance travelers. The people who travel from Uganda, the people who travel from Kenya, at least along the road, there should be a place for ablution, a place for resting, at least a place for showering, and those places. Therefore, I think it is high time that the country must give back. Because now I'm seeing, we are being told that the target for this year's collection is 9.6 billion. So I think it's the high time that Kenya should be able to invest so that we can be able to have a comfortable traveling and has at least increase the flow of goods and people traveling. Honorable Speaker, finally, as I was walking, I was hearing the people talking that I think the senators should come back again. Because they said this is the only time we're seeing people who are serious. People are saying that Parliament is serious. So I think the Senate machinery also should be also increased, at least twice in a year, where so that people can appreciate more and we can be able to reach more counties in a given time. If we can go to at least 6, 7, 8, every year twice. I know it's economically not viable, but of course, the Kenyans appreciate that we must visit at least wherever we can reach far ends. We can have even split house. One be led by the speaker, one led by the deputy speaker, so at least we can have concurrently maybe, at least 2 sessions of visiting by having Senate Mashinani. I think, Honorable Speaker, with those few remarks, I beg to support.
Senator Fernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for this opportunity. I confirm that I was among the senators who went today in the morning. Mr. Speaker, and I want to confirm some of us are young, but we wake up as early as 4 a.m. to serve this nation. And even during initiation, some of us went at 3 a.m., so sleep is not an issue because some of us are dry Kalenjin men. Mr. Speaker, let me make the following observations. One is that this border issue is a very critical issue. So, Speaker, I thought I should dispel the critics who wonder why senators would visit a border post. Because our work is devolution and counties. Yet most of our critics forget that under Article 96, our role is to protect devolution. And Busia as a county is a border of another international country like Uganda. So I hope, Mr. Speaker, because I've seen some people criticizing, especially our colleagues in the National Assembly, wondering what we are doing. In fact, they should have done this job before we came. So, Speaker, this Busia border is a very critical point. But it is very unfortunate that there is a lot of gridlock because of poor infrastructure, demotivated staff. Mr. Speaker, we were shocked that there is around 110 acres, colleagues, who is supposed to be handed over to Kenya Revenue Authority to develop and expand and ensure there is ample parking and processing of clearance of trucks that are either outbound out of Kenya or inbound from Uganda. Mr. Speaker, and we were told that the proposal is that you heard about Mulwanda border point, Mr. Speaker. We should operationalize, Mr. Speaker. We heard about, I think what was called Buteba border point, which is not very far, Mr. Speaker, that can be operationalized. Because we came to learn, Mr. Speaker, today in the morning, that Busia clears more people. But when you go to Malaba, it clears more trucks, Mr. Speaker. And this 110 acres, Mr. Speaker, we hope, and I hope National Land Commission is listening, because I've seen, Mr. Speaker, this is what is missing in this motion, that we should also include that the National Land Commission fast tracks the transfer of land from the Ministry of Interior to Kenya Revenue Authority and East Africa Ministry so that they can process and allow the expansion. Mr. Speaker, for some people who have traveled to the US, you see, and this is to Kenya National Highway Authority, under the law they must construct resting places. Mr. Speaker, it cannot be that when you go to the Busia border point here, that you have to pay to use a public toilet. 20 shillings for the long call, 10 shillings for the short call, Mr. Speaker, and 50 shillings to get a shower. While you go in some states in the US, they have constructed resting place with a convenience store, a sleeping area, a parking area, Mr. Speaker, and even where you can protect dignity. And it is embarrassing, Mr. Speaker, that in the other side of Uganda, the use of hygiene facilities, that is toilets, is free of charge. Mr. Speaker, there is a bigger problem that we need to be told what is really happening, Mr. Speaker. Because even when you look at infrastructure, how can that infrastructure, there are only 40 trucks that you can park there, Senator Mundi. Yet we have a number of trucks, Mr. Speaker. We were being told it takes 10 minutes to clear. But that is not the truth. We have 22 agencies, Mr. Speaker, that instead of taking 4 hours to clear here, you take more than 4 days. Because of some agencies are not operational 24 hours, Mr. Speaker. For example, to clear an inbound of dairy products, you have to wait for approval from Kenya Dairy Board in Nairobi. They don't have people who can do approval here, Mr. Speaker. That is what is undermining efficiency, Mr. Speaker, of free trade area in East Africa, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, as a committee, we must tell these two agencies. Mr. Speaker, even I'm wondering, why do we call one border post? There is nothing one. You have 22 agencies that you have to clear with. Unless the word, or I'm not good in English, why would you say one border post, one clearance? It is 22 border posts, Mr. Speaker. That's the reality. Because KEFIS is here, KRA is here, Kenya Dairy Board is here, Mr. Speaker. It is very unfortunate, Mr. Speaker, that we call it border posts. It is the mockery of the English language or mockery of the people, Mr. Speaker. So this issue of clearance is very unfortunate, but I'm happy the Kenya revenue are collecting a lot of money. For example, in financial year 2023-2024, the target was 4.8 billion, but they collected 4.1 billion. 2024-2025, they collected, the target was 5.33 billion, but they ended up collecting 6.8 billion, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, another issue is the county government. And I think we did advise them, Mr. Speaker, that they need to improve. Because just
30 seconds.
So the counties, the county government of Busia misled us yesterday. Yet they are charging 2,500 for the trailer, 1,000 for the canter, and 1,500, 2,000 for dairy products. Mr. Speaker, if we have to be efficient, let us have a multi-agency to ensure that we have proper efficiency of trade. And I hope after this resolution we will make out the trading partners within East Africa will be for the better of all of us. With those many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to support this motion.
The Deputy Speaker.
Senator Wambua, you should also recognize that there is some protocol that should be observed at some point. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this chance also to contribute to this very, very important motion, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we are here in Busia because the work of the senators, Article 96, is to protect the counties and the governments and the governments that we have in the counties. Mr. Speaker, when we met the governor of Busia County the first day on Monday, he has a lot of challenges, especially on health care, because whatever budget they propose in his budget, 30% of his budget is consumed by maybe the other side. I don't want to mention the name of the country, but our neighbors from the other side. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, one of the reasons why they have that, they're overstretching their budget on health is because of also the congestion that is here, Mr. Speaker. Because when there is congestion, there is a high population, there are breakouts of diseases and so many other challenges. So, Mr. Speaker, we are living now in the year 2025, almost 63 years after independence. And Mr. Speaker, we have not been able to clear or to finish up some of the challenges that we have encountered since independence. Mr. Speaker, we don't need to believe at the point that or maybe try to blame the previous governments. Mr. Speaker, the government of Jomo Kenyatta, Moi, Kibaki, Uhuru, we should tackle the challenges that we have now. We have been elected by the people from 2022. We will be in office up to 2027. It should not take us beyond 2027, Senator Wambua and my colleagues, before we finish up these challenges that we met here. Then what will be the need for us to be in the office for 5 years? I was asking my colleague, Senator Kisang, because he has been the Haiti one for that 4 years. And he pronounced that during the last impeachment. So I was asking him for that, with that 4 years experience, why don't you propose or come up with a system that can be able to be used the way Senator Matinka was proposing, so that we don't need to queue. There is a system, IT solutions in everything, Mr. Speaker. But he challenged me and told me, you know, systems don't like straight things. So I don't understand what is that system that does not allow efficiency. So, Mr. Speaker, I think this time round, let us collapse that thing called the system so that we can do the right thing. If you have that proposal, Mr. Honorable Senator Kisang, why don't you bring it in this floor of the Senate? Come with it, let us discuss, and then we make the government to act. We are a House of Parliament, mandated by Kenyans to make laws, to facilitate efficiency, even in government, to tame corruption and all these things, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is unfortunate that, you know, the East African Customs Protocol signed many years ago. And up to date, some of the member states don't want this thing to be implemented. You have our brothers in Tanzania, let me mention that side. Because, Mr. Speaker, you can never practice in Tanzania. But Kenya has around experts. Whatever profession you have, you can come from Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, now Somalia also, Sudan, South Sudan, and practice in Kenya. Even representing a citizen of Uganda. The other day is a problem with our sister lawyer, Mother Karua Senior. Because, Mr. Speaker, whatever we agree, countries don't want to implement those issues. Mr. Speaker, let this be, maybe, since we're in Busia, let us sort out this problem in Maraba and Busia and Bonda. And, Mr. Speaker, these challenges are very minor. One is about the road, which even yesterday we agreed this road should be fixed so that, Mr. Speaker, the efficiency can be observed. If it is the scanners, the lack of staff, enough staff, we have so many Kenyans who are languishing, even in these streets of Busia, who can even support to work at these Bonda posts, Mr. Speaker, and also expand the Maraba Bonda works at 4.2 hectares of land. There is no space even for these trucks, Mr. Speaker. So I think let this motion come up with a good resolution. We agree as the Senate and make sure that everything in these border posts lands smoothly, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Oburu Odinga.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, this is an area where I'm very sure you are very much aware. This is an area where you have been in charge, and I know you know what the integration of this area means. Mr. Speaker, the people of this area are the same people. We are the same people. These borders were created artificially by the colonial authorities. Mr. Speaker, if you go, you take the Samia people. The Samia people spread into Uganda, and they have members of parliament in Uganda who are Samias. At one time, Mr. Speaker, if some of you might not be aware, in Kenya we had Mudi Awori as the Vice President of Kenya, and his brother Agre was contesting for presidency in Uganda. So, Mr. Speaker, we also have the Teso people. They spread into Uganda. The Luo people go up to Lolwe Islands there. So the Manyala people, the same. Mr. Speaker, the Kuria, you go to Masai, and you go down the Digos. They all spread into Tanzania. And Mr. Speaker, this area was supposed to be one country. But because of during colonial times, Mr. Speaker, I was there. There used to be no border here in Busia. We used to move. Siaya is not far from here. In fact, I'm a neighbor. I'm more of a neighbor than Halwale. And we used to move into Uganda. There was only a roadblock showing you that you are getting into Uganda. And the currency was one during colonial times. Why are we not doing better than the colonialists? Why was Uganda and Kenya more or less one? Because we were using the same currency. There was only a border to show you that you are now crossing into Uganda. Otherwise, these are the same countries, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, sir, the East African community is based on 4 pillars. These 4 pillars, one is the customs union, which I think, Mr. Speaker, is largely implemented. The second pillar is the common market. And this common market envisages free movement of goods, free movement of people, free movement of services, and free movement of capital. And Mr. Speaker, this is where we are doing very poorly. Because on the free movement of people, you had Honorable Adama telling you how expensive it is to fly to Kampala here. Mr. Speaker, even here, movement, though moving on foot here is not a big problem, because now, Mr. Speaker, I think we can give credit that people can move with their IDs and they can go into Uganda. Mr. Speaker, on the free movement of goods, there is what we call the non-tariff barriers. These non-tariff barriers, they have been talked about for a long time. I think when you were there, Mr. Speaker, you remember the whole list of non-tariff barriers. They have been reducing them, but why are they not being eliminated completely? Because these are just artificial measures taken by governments to prevent free movement of goods and free movement of people sometimes, but mainly free movement of goods. Mr. Speaker, when it comes to the free movement of people, you also have problems with the right to establishment, because some governments they have signed the protocols. They signed the protocols, but their implementation with these protocols, Mr. Speaker, the big problem is implementation. Implementation is left to the member states, and they don't want to implement them. They signed them, but they don't want to implement them. For instance, right to establishment. The Tanzanian government, I think, sometimes fears that Kenyans are very greedy. They might nyakua all their land there. But, Mr. Speaker, that is not true. Kenya allows people free movement of people. They come and work in Kenya freely. And this should be practiced by all the members, because the protocols have been signed by all of them. And it is a problem of implementation. Mr. Speaker, we also have a problem in Lake Victoria. This lake is supposed to...
1 minute to conclude your thoughts, Honorable Senator.
Mr. Speaker, the lake is supposed to be a common user facility. Uganda practices common user practice with the Congo. They manage the lake jointly. Why can't the East Africans also manage this lake jointly, so that fishermen are not harassed and arrested? Some of them are even made to eat raw fish in the lake, Mr. Speaker. Sometimes the fines are too heavy for them and they are jailed there. We have to go and look for them every now and then. Negotiations have to be done. Mr. Speaker, there should be a common user policy for the Lake Victoria, so that all the fishermen from all the countries can enjoy this facility and benefit from it, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Tabitha Mutenda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Allow me to just pick it up from where our youth leader just had mentioned something. That is, when you were once the minister for ESC between 2008 and 2010. And one of the key achievements, Mr. Speaker, that you delivered for this country was ensuring what we call the common market protocol. Free movement of people, free movement of services, free movement of our products, and also the free movement of the labor. We applaud you for that. Mr. Speaker, yesterday I had the privilege to join my colleagues in the Trade and Industrialization Committee, where we also visited the Malaba border. We had intensive discussions with the management and the different stakeholders that cut across. The meeting was led by the KRA manager. Mr. Speaker, one of my key observations as someone who's versed in matters finance was the revenue collection. As early as last year's revenue collection, it amounted to over 8 billion, Mr. Speaker. As we speak currently, their financial target is 12 billion, Mr. Speaker. Then you ask yourself and wonder, where does this money go? Even if it goes to the Ministry of Finance in the consolidated fund, Mr. Speaker, the border deserves to get the development, Mr. Speaker. The management at the Malaba border, Mr. Speaker, is not able to address the financial issues that need to be addressed, because all the funds that they collect can only be decided by the Minister of Finance, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there is a road at Malaba border, a 700-meter road, Mr. Speaker, that needs to be finished when it comes to matters tarmacking. How much would that cost? The much it can cost is about 200 million, Mr. Speaker. And if that road is finished today, Mr. Speaker, it will enhance and broaden movement in and out. Today, as we speak, it's only one road, incoming and outgoing, Mr. Speaker. How do we increase the market share? Why will not business people continue using the Arusha border, Mr. Speaker, if we are not factoring the issues that are in our borders? We were also privileged, Mr. Speaker, to meet the chairman of the clearing board agencies, the chairman of the truck drivers, the chairman of the truck owners. And Mr. Speaker, the issues that currently they are addressing, they are coming from our brother side, the other region. The Kenyan side, the issues that are there, they cannot be compared with the issues that are in Uganda side. Then you ask yourself, what's the challenge? It is people who have been given mandate, the police who are on the other side, the managers who are on the other side, who decide when to work and when not to work. Who decide when they want to clear a track or not. Issues like they close books, they close shelves, they close the systems and sit back and watch before any track is cleared. Money has to exchange hands, Mr. Speaker. That is what the representatives communicated, Mr. Speaker. So there needs to be also a joint committee within both sides that can be able to address these issues. Because on the Kenyan side, there are no those challenges. The systems have been put in place, as much as there are few challenges whereby some of these clearances have to be decided in Nairobi. Some of the decisions have to be decided again back in Nairobi, Mr. Speaker, which brings the challenge because there is delay. When stakeholders, especially the veterinary department, where they work up to Friday, so you wonder a truck that has arrived on Friday, what happens on Saturday, what happens on Sunday? And you know very well that is a 24-hour border. That a document cannot be signed because these people do not work past 4 p.m., Mr. Speaker. What happens to those business people? Definitely they will use other routes. And how are we even going to stop the counterfeit and the smuggling if those departments and those stakeholders cannot up their game, cannot be able to extend those working hours or be able to address the labor challenges or the HR issues that they are currently having, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, it is the high time that also we as a house, I don't know.
Conclude your thoughts.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is a high time that also the minister, Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, comes and brings these regional discussions so that these issues can be addressed and addressed conclusively and in a futuristic manner, Mr. Speaker. Otherwise, we are losing business in this country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Andrew Omtata.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for the opportunity to address this august House. The motion I support. It's very important. I will also bring the attention of the House that the county government of Busia makes absolutely no revenue from all the challenges it faces hosting the international border point. There used to be a trailer parking here where the county council, before the county assembly came in, used to make some money, whereby the trucks would be taken off the road and put into the parking yard, and they would pay some parking fees. Now, that was taken away when they were doing the one border stop post by the Kenya National Highways Authority, with an undertaking that they would put up another border post, another parking yard. As we were told, there is 60 acres. There's about 70 acres available around the border that belongs to the Ministry of Interior, commonly known as no man's land. A temporary park could be put there to sanitize the congestion, get the danger. Another thing is that these people, the trailers sometimes carry hazardous materials. We remember sometime, was it around Naivasha, when we had that accident whereby one of the trucks exploded and incinerated many other trucks. When these trucks are congested here, there are sitting bombs that can go off in any way. And I want to underscore the point that our brother was making yesterday, the Honorable Yo Wambua. He made a very important point that when the trucks are on the highway, they cannot be charged for any parking fees. Although they are parking, that they're creating congestion, they must be taken off the highway and put somewhere where they can then be attended to, services provided, and then they can also pay some parking fees. My sister's Honorable Mtinda has mentioned the non-tariff barriers on the Ugandan side. These non-tariff barriers on the Ugandan side require intervention that may be even at the level of the heads of state to address. And so as we talk about the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we must not forget that the top diplomat of this country is the president. And maybe his attention could be drawn to the non-tariff barriers on the Ugandan side so that he could discuss it with his counterpart on the other side to see what kind of interventions can be done, and even just remove the point at which they begin inspecting that trucks on the other side so that there's no congestion created. We must be aware to the competition from Tanzania, whereby the inefficiencies on this corridor, for some of us who have been in Arusha, have been told that the inefficiencies in this corridor are contributing to the movement of cargo away from the Mombasa port to the Dar es Salaam port. Countries like Burundi are some of them importing mainly through Dar es Salaam, despite the longer route, but because of the less congestion, the more acceptable terrain, they're taking business away from us. So we must be aware to that, and that's why I'm happy that this motion is mentioning the Ngelechom land. The Ngelechom land, which I hope we'll be able to have time for a committee of the Senate to visit, is just out here between Busia and Malaba. 200 acres of public land. You don't need to acquire that land. It's government land. And a trailer city, not just a trailer park, a trailer city can be erected there that will be also contribute as an industrial base to this county. Mr. Speaker, sir, we don't have an industrial base for this country. The only industry that you can see people engaging in is border, which has its own challenges, which has its very low income. So it's important that the Ngelechom land be considered seriously as a possible area of putting up a modern trailer park that can suck up all these issues. We heard about the Muluanda border crossing, which is also idle, not being utilized. So if we invest in infrastructure, we should be able to get matters moving faster. The question of our neighboring country using a hospital is also true, but remember, those people don't come with SHA and SHIF. Those people pay cash. Where does that cash go to? Those clients come and they pay cash. They don't use SHA and SHIF. Where does that money go to? So as we talk of saying that there's money, that there's a shortage of funds in the hospital, let us ask and find out where the money goes to, What are the allocations? Let them give us a detailed account of how this money is used. In fact, our neighbors are contributing a lot of money in our health facilities, but that money is never accounted for. It goes into somebody's pocket. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, it's...
Because you are host, let me give you 1 more minute to clear.
So, Mr. Speaker, sir, it's with a very, very happy heart that I contribute to this motion, and I'm happy that the Senate has seen for itself the challenges we face here, most of which are self-inflicted. Even today, as I was walking in the town, they said the Senate should not leave Busia because for the first time, the streets have been swept, the waterways have been unclogged, and some people are saying the Senate should move from Nairobi to Busia. That's maybe when the county government is going to work. That's how bad things have been in this county, and I hope that the committees will follow up with the various issues and ensure that the county government works for the people of Busia and works for the people of Kenya, and that the border points are decongested, but decongested in a manner that business remains in Kenya, not decongested in a manner that there's no business in Kenya. We don't want to see a situation whereby a trailer crosses from Nairobi.
Thank you, Senator Mtata. Senator Kisang.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also want to join my colleagues to support this motion. And from the onset, Honorable Speaker, it is important for people to know that systems work. You know, ICT systems work across the world, and they're all the same. The only difference, Chair, is the mindset of the leaders. And this is where we have a problem in Africa, because when we try to automate, there are many people who resist. In fact, I'm surprised that Senator Mtata is saying some hospitals within the county, they are still receiving cash. And we don't know where the cash is going, because we don't expect hospitals to still be receiving cash currently, because they're supposed either to pay through the citizens of Busia to be paying either through e-citizen, pay bills, or pay directly to the banks, Honorable Speaker. And that's why I was saying, Speaker, that there are systems in place that can be used to ensure the drugs, when they leave Mombasa, they go free all the way up to the destinations after paying their taxes. But because of corruption, because people want to reap where they did not sow, Honorable Speaker, they don't want systems to work. That is one of the issues. That is why recently, when you saw the Kenya Kwanza government introducing e-government procurement, there has been a lot of resistance everywhere, especially even by the county governments, because what they don't want is automated systems. They want interaction between human beings, so that they can exchange, things can exchange hands, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this morning, we were at the border post very early in the morning. By 8 o'clock, we were there, Honorable Speaker. We were taken through, and we saw the challenges that are there, Honorable Speaker. One of the biggest challenges, if you look at this particular border on the Kenyan side, Honorable Speaker, basically, it's like, it doesn't look like it is, in fact, the Namanga is better, Honorable Segi. It is very clean, organized, but this particular place, it is in a mess, Honorable Speaker. And this is one of the things that we want to resolve, that the county government of Busia and also national government, because we have 70 acres for Minister of Interior, we have 40 acres for Minister of East African Community, where the officer in charge of the East African Community in this particular county, Honorable Speaker, this border post, they've said they already have donors who are willing to put up serious markets. They're willing to put up infrastructure so that the women from both Uganda and the Kenyan side can trade freely and have very good and ample space, Honorable Speaker, even where they can breastfeed, because the lady in charge of the women, the small women businesses under $2,000 within Busia, Honorable Speaker, said there are some young mothers who have children, but they don't have anywhere to breastfeed. They don't have anywhere to even change their children, Honorable Speaker. Same business, I think same issue also in Malaba. I'm sure this is what you witnessed yesterday. And the resources are there to assist. Honorable Speaker, Kenya Revenue Authority they have one scanner here, and they have told us it's a second scanner that is going. There's one scanner now in Malaba, one scanner is on the way, Honorable Speaker, but the problem is there is a delay. When a truck is scanned, the report is taken to Nairobi Central Control Room, and they take about 10 minutes or more to verify and send to clear this particular truck, Honorable Speaker. This is where there is a lag. In this day and age of artificial intelligence, we want to ask KRA to use AI so that that time can be reduced from 10 minutes to less than 30 seconds, Honorable Speaker, so that we can fast track the flow of trucks at the border, Honorable Speaker. And we want to ask our colleagues on the other side. That's why we are saying the President is our chief ambassador within the region. So we want him also to talk to the other colleagues, so that even as Kenya automates, Tanzania also they need to do something, so that we don't get the backlog on the other side and our business community are frustrated. Honorable Speaker, there is a lot of revenue that is being lost here. We were told 2023-24, the target was 4.8, but they collected 6.1. This financial year, the target is 9.1. I believe they can go beyond 15 billion, both for Busia and Malaba. So basically, there is enough money that can be collected, but what we need to do is basically for our people to embrace.
Honorable Senators, from now henceforth, there will be no additional even of 1 second, because many senators still want to say something. What in Busia? Senator Enoch Wambua.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. I don't know which principle this one is, but I'm happy to be back in Busia, Mr. Speaker. For the benefit of the people of Busia, this to me is more of a homecoming than just a visit by the Senate. I once taught in a school near this place called Mondika Boys when Senator Medu was still, I think, in baby class. Mr. Speaker, I want to take this opportunity to make a contribution to this motion, but begin by thanking the Speaker of the Senate, the Right Honorable Amason Jeffa Kingi, for the contribution that he made when he was a minister for the East African Community, working under the pupillage of perhaps one of the best presidents that this country has ever had, His Excellency the late Stanley Emilio Mwai Kibaki, and under the guidance of the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, then the Prime Minister, and of course, the very able Vice President then, His Excellency Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, when they crafted the East African Common Market Protocol. And you know, Mr. Speaker, what colleagues don't know is that the chairman of that commission that crafted that protocol was none other than Justice Stewart Mazayo. He is the man who is going to be credited for the establishment of the protocol and pushing it through Parliament. Now it's an act of Parliament. So the protocols are there, Mr. Speaker. What is needed, the heavy lifting has been done. What is remaining is just implementation of the protocol. Mr. Speaker, I want to remind ourselves of important facts about us, the senators. Mr. Speaker, Article 93 of the Constitution establishes the Parliament of the Republic of Kenya and defines it as constituting the National Assembly and the Senate. Article 96 goes further to assign specific roles to the Senate. And it is not by coincidence, Speaker, that the first assignment that the Constitution gives to this Senate is the protection of counties and their governments. The Speaker, Article 209 of the Constitution, 3, it assigns Parliament, where Senate is involved, the responsibility of giving powers and responsibilities to county governments to be able to impose taxes through an act of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, when we sit here and talk about efficiency at the one-stop border post, it is okay because we are Parliament. But Mr. Speaker, our first responsibility is to protect counties and their governments. It pains me, Mr. Speaker, that we are at a border county today where even this morning as we drove to this August House, there was traffic caused by trucks literally parked on the roadside. Mr. Speaker, I want to advance my argument yesterday that those trucks that are lining up outside this building, they are not just trucks. These are opportunities for this county government to make some revenue, to generate some revenue. But they cannot generate revenue because those trucks are in a traffic jam. They are not parked. Mr. Speaker, it compromises the movement of the people of Busia because they have taken one lane, but they are not paying nothing to the county government of Busia. Mr. Speaker, we must empower this county government and other counties at border posts to be able to generate revenue from these trucks. And the argument that we are making business too expensive, Mr. Speaker, doesn't fly. Let county governments create parking lots. Let these trucks be taken off the roads to the parking lots. Let county governments generate revenue day and night, Mr. Speaker, so they don't always rely on the exchequer for the services that they render. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, when these trucks are parked here, they are consuming services that belong to the people of Busia. They are generating waste. It is the responsibility of this government to make sure that the
Senator Anderson Mugatano.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to contribute to this motion. From the very onset, Mr. Speaker, I really want to support this motion. And Mr. Speaker, I have had the fortune in my life to serve as chair of the Kenya Ports Authority. And Mr. Speaker, at the port, there's a lot of movement of goods inside. And Mr. Speaker, movement of goods outside. Congestion and all these problems that are similar to what we are seeing here in Busia and at Malaba borders, very similar, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, today I rise to say only one thing, that the government of Kenya and the government of Uganda, Mr. Speaker, must heavily invest in ICT, Mr. Speaker. Technology is the answer. There's nothing else we are going to do that will help better than technology. Mr. Speaker, we are living in a different era. Now, the issue of technology takes precedence over everything else. If we are going to make these border issues work, it is technology, Mr. Speaker. Technology is what has moved the Kenya Ports Authority to be a highly profitable parastatal. It's technology, Mr. Speaker. Technology may be expensive now when you are investing in it, but it is the way to go. It is the answer to all these problems, Mr. Speaker. I have in mind, Mr. Speaker, the FS 6000 scanners. These are non-intrusive scanners. Mr. Speaker, you would have a vehicle moving at a speed of 15 kilometers per hour. You don't need to look at the luggage. You don't need to offload. It moves. So all these trucks will not be staying on the road. They will be moving at least at 15 kilometers per hour. And it is a non-intrusive type of scanner. Mr. Speaker, the drivers and the people who are involved in this trade, we can have artificial intelligence, Mr. Speaker, on all of them, so that
As they are coming, there are smart gates at the border, Mr. Speaker. These people are recognized as they are approaching the gates, so that their facial recognition and biometrics, Mr. Speaker, are used automatically by artificial intelligence. You don't need to have people. In fact, this thing of saying that we need to be given more staff, we should be talking about investing in technology, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there should be a regional tracking system of all the goods. And these are systems which are available. When the goods are being loaded in Mombasa, there should be an electronic gadget there. Put in those goods, Mr. Speaker, so that through technology in satellite, you're able to track those goods, and those seals are not broken until they are disabled electronically. So from the point of departure, they are given those electronic seals, and they come. When they reach here at the border, there's facial recognition of the drivers. There are smart gates, Mr. Speaker. There are FS 6000 scanners passing. So who's going to complain about anything, Mr. Speaker? From the point where the goods are loaded to the point of destination, everything is properly enabled through electronics. And Mr. Speaker, if we can invest in electronics, if we in ICT, in this technology, Mr. Speaker, I'm telling you, all these things we are talking about will be a thing of the past. Mr. Speaker, in the past, we used to use passports that are checked and what and what. Nowadays, Mr. Speaker, if you go to any serious airport, you don't need to produce these things. You just put it there and everybody knows you are here, how many days you are going to stay. Mr. Speaker, it has been done in terms of humans. It can be done for cargo. And this is the answer to all these problems, Mr. Speaker. My proposal is that we must involve the two heads of state on Uganda side and Kenya side. We must agree on putting some money, budget, sufficient budget, to invest in the technology that is required to make these solutions a reality. Mr. Speaker, if this is done, we will not be talking about delays on the border side. Mr. Speaker, I support. Thank you.
Senator Seki.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I also want to join my colleagues to support this motion on the challenges of the border points within our neighboring countries. Honorable Speaker, it is true that the East African protocols has discussed or it has been debated by most of our colleagues here on the free movement of goods, which has been debated quite long. But to me, I want to touch on the movement of people, Honorable Speaker. And this brings an issue of security. Honorable Speaker, we celebrate and we are happy that we are in border point of Busia today. And we have quite a number of border points in this country, one being in my county, Namanga and Tarakea border points, Honorable Speaker. Have a very big problem on issues of people trafficking and security of our people, Honorable Speaker. We have a big challenge of Kenyans being arrested in most of the countries, particularly Tanzania. And now we have a problem of Uganda also coming in. We have one citizen of Kajiado by the name Bob Njagi, who have been arrested in Uganda. And we still don't know where he is, Honorable Speaker. We want to put our voice to the country security, the Foreign Affairs Ministry, to come in and be clear on where Bobby Njagi is, Honorable Speaker, as part of the protocols and protocols that have been signed by countries, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, when I come back to the Kenya, the Kenyan National Highway Authority, I want to support that they have many roadblocks within their highways, but there is no public facilities to help these truck drivers to at least to have free time or during the stopovers. Honorable Speaker, it is their time. It is the time for them to come in and start building, construct facilities that can help these truck drivers within their stopover areas where they do their weighbridge. Honorable Speaker, it is also a challenge for county governments to come in and have innovative ways to get more resources, particularly on the issue of parking. Honorable Speaker, it is not a must that there must be, that the counties should be told what to do to get revenue. They must bring innovative ways of getting revenue by constructing, locating, planning resources so that they get more money, not just to collect money through the highways, but also to do something to invest on their money, on their financial, within their financial budgets, so that they can get money through these truck drivers. Honorable Speaker, on the issue of KRA, we came in to see that the KRA have surpassed their budget, yes, true, as we've learned there, but it is also important that the KRA also brings back the money back to the border point, Honorable Speaker, because it is not good that we just get money from the border points and they don't invest whatever that has been received in that border point. Honorable Speaker, it is important that the Parliament of Kenya, National and the Senate, works closely with other national assemblies or national parliaments within the countries of East Africa, so that we bring in issues that we are discussing today and even before together, so that at least as we can force in and bring the issue of parliament and political interference within our borders, because it is only parliament that can bring sanity to the country. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Mandago.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, first, Honorable Speaker, let me say that the one-stop border post is a very important installation for cross-border trade in this country. But, Honorable Speaker, I want to address myself to the issues that I think Government of Kenya agencies have capacity to resolve in order to facilitate trade between the East African countries, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, one of the agencies that we would want them to take serious action, and almost immediately, Honorable Speaker, is the Kenya National Highways Authority, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as a trade committee, we had the opportunity to visit the Malaba one border post, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, what is standing between more trucks being cleared through that border post is a road that is 700 meters in length, Honorable Speaker, that a contractor abandoned more than 4 years ago, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I really don't understand why Kenya National Highways Authority have taken more than 4 years to revisit that road and complete, so that the trucks that leave Uganda and the trucks that leave Kenya to Uganda, Honorable Speaker, can use different routes and facilitate faster clearance, ease the traffic that we are seeing on our roads, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Kenya National Highways Authority, they do understand that when they design the roads, there is need to provide social amenities such as lorry parks at periodic intervals, Honorable Speaker, first to ensure the safety in our roads, so that when our long-distance truck drivers are tired, Honorable Speaker, they must find a good, secure place to park and take a rest, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Kenya National Highways must take their work very seriously. In Uasin Gishu County, for example, Honorable Speaker, the bypass that was designed at the interchange that connects the road to Kitale, to Ebuye, back to Eldoret and to the bypass to the airport, Honorable Speaker, a lorry park was developed without toilets, without shower places. It's just a parking lot. That parking lot of recent past, Honorable Speaker, has become a social joint for the young people. They have what they call park and chill. The challenge is they park and chill without toilets, without social amenities, Honorable Speaker. Kenya National Highways must now incorporate in all their designs of new roads these amenities without failure, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the border posts, the Malaba and Busia, generates close to 15 billion shillings, Honorable Speaker. I would want to urge the national government to reinvest at least 2 billion from the money being generated in Busia and Malaba to improve these border posts, Honorable Speaker, which will not only increase the revenues they are going to earn, but make the business environment friendly, easier, and make trade possible. Honorable Speaker, even as I wind up, I was pleased this morning to note that there are small women traders circle that is doing very well here in Busia, Honorable Speaker. And surprisingly, Honorable Speaker, our counterpart in Uganda are doing better in terms of facilitating them, Honorable Speaker. And we had a testimony from the chair who said, even when they don't have identity cards, Honorable Speaker, and they have a police abstract and a temporary pass, our Uganda counterparts facilitate them to trade even all the way to Busia. And I think that is the reason in Uganda, Honorable Speaker, we can say His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni should go for a long term so that they can continue facilitating trade, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, national government should also help counties, and I don't think it is right to mislead county governments that they can collect revenue that is meant for national government, that they can increase revenue other than what has been put in the East African Common Treaty, Honorable Speaker. Counties must raise their own revenue. However, national government, Honorable Speaker, can come in to help all our counties that have international borders and have towns that are growing around the borders by helping them with the spatial planning, fiscal planning, so that we have cities that are well organized that can attract good traders and good business, Honorable Speaker. These will enable our border towns to attract more business people, and we make the business environment better. These are services that we don't need money. There is a lot of capacity in national government in terms of fiscal planning, spatial planning, in the Ministry of Lands and Housing, Honorable Speaker, which can be deployed to help Busia County to establish, to plan Busia town better, Malaba, and all the others. Finally, Honorable Speaker, we would want to request the Minister of Interior to move with speed and gazette the Buteba border post, Honorable Speaker, which will help the Malaba post to be decongested, Honorable Speaker. To cassette a border point, and I'm happy with the attitude of the officers responsible for the border management here in Malaba and Busia, Honorable Speaker, that they are even willing to go and set up an office using the containers. The road in Uganda is ready. The road from Kenya is ready. What is lacking is that gazettement, so that we can decongest these two border posts, Honorable Speaker, and allow more movement of trucks, resulting in more revenue for the government of Kenya, and making sure that we increase the ease of trade, Honorable Speaker. Finally, Honorable Speaker, we as East Africans should now move a step further. We are done with the issues of customs. We are done with the issues of protocols of trade. To resolve
Senator Medu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'm happy that I finally got an opportunity, and I'm very, very excited to be to come to Busia. Mr. Speaker, I must inform you that it is my first time to come to Busia, though my grandfather applied his trade here. He was a timber business person here. And I also heard you, when you were making your remarks, speak about protocols and hierarchy. And maybe you may want to consult Senator Nyutu, Senator Wambua, Senator Karungo, Senator Murango, and they'll tell you that I also hold a substantive office of leadership in this house, though informal. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Maraba border point, the projection of the revenue that we intend to collect for the financial year 2025-2026 is about 12 billion. Mr. Speaker, sir, having collected...
There's a point of order from Senator Kongo Mwen.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise on a point of order to seek clarification from the Honorable Senator, who has just informed us that he holds a leadership position in this House. And Senator of Nyamira, I want to benefit, Mr. Speaker, by getting clarification from my good friend which position he holds in this House and benefit from that leadership position that he holds. May he put the record straight, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Medu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. I was very careful on the words that I used. I said an informal position, and I told you the people that I lead, and none of them has complained. Senator Kavindi is one of them. So I am surprised that it is Senator Kongo, my cousin, who is complaining. And I hope my time was frozen. Sorry. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, if indeed we collect this kind of revenue from this Maraba border point, this is a cow that we are milking, a dairy cow, which in the words of the people of Muranga, would be a hybrid cow that we are milking from so much, and we don't want to invest on anything. Mr. Speaker, sir, if we indeed want to continue holding the bragging rights of an economic powerhouse in East Africa, Mr. Speaker, then there are certain things that we should not be speaking about at this age and point. Mr. Speaker, sir, the person who was sitting on that seat before you, Speaker Amason Jeffa Kingi, was the Minister for East African Community at my age. And Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm surprised because Senator Oburu has told us that the things that were being discussed in Parliament then are some of the challenges that we're speaking about now. It is such a sad state, Mr. Speaker, sir, that some government agencies that are operating on the one-stop border point, Mr. Speaker, which we have been dissuaded by some of our colleagues that it is not one point, that some of government agencies are not able to operate 24 hours a day and 7 days a week, Mr. Speaker. Some agencies are operating 8 to 5 and only Monday to Friday, Mr. Speaker. Let me just make this one last contribution. At this point of our time, Mr. Speaker, we should not be speaking about insufficient scanners of trucks that are being cleared to either go to Uganda or come to Kenya, Mr. Speaker, sir. We should actually be speaking about new technology that is being used at other places, Mr. Speaker. I've taken some little time to look at this scanner that has been spoken about by Senator Mungatana, the FS6000 scanner, NACTEC. Mr. Speaker, sir, this new technology that is being used in many other African countries, not even European countries, many other African countries, Mr. Speaker, sir, this specific scanner can scan up to 200 trucks in an hour. In the Maraba border, Mr. Speaker, there are only 600 trucks that use that border point every day, Mr. Speaker. So therefore, if you are to get modern scanners, it will be easy, it will be fast, and it will be efficient, Mr. Speaker, sir, for a truck to come from Kenya to go to Uganda, for a truck to come from Uganda to come to Kenya. If we continue speaking about free market and you don't know to invest, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Joe Nyutu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to also contribute to this particular motion, and which I want to say right from the onset that I do support. Mr. Speaker, most of the challenges that we are having in this border post, and indeed other border posts, can, like has been said by those that spoke before me, particularly Senator Mungatana and Senator Medu, be resolved by investing in good technology. Mr. Speaker, there is a weighbridge somewhere near Ruiru, and I believe that you pass by as you go to Meru to serve your people. And you know that there used to be a lot of congestion there before technology was fully deployed there and utilized. These days, most of the trucks, Mr. Speaker, will be scanned at a distance, and there is a screen that gives them a go-ahead if they are not overloaded. And that has eased congestion along that particular, weighbridge. And this is something that has been tried and tested and which should be done or copied at these border posts and other border posts, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the other challenge that we have is countries that are not comfortable with one another. I mean, countries that hold each other with suspicion that any time a Kenyan is entering into Uganda, or there are some Kenyan goods entering into Uganda or into Tanzania, that the authorities in these other countries are always suspicious. There is no goodwill. Countries feeling insecure that they will let free movement of goods and services to happen, that there is any particular country that is going to roughshod, to reign over them or to take advantage of this. And I think, Mr. Speaker, it's important that we call upon these nations, particularly the heads of state, to treat us as one people. That when a Ugandan is entering into Kenya, when we are having goods being brought from Uganda to Kenya, that there is no suspicion, that there is no hostility, Mr. Speaker, so that we can be able to actualize this East African community. Mr. Speaker, I say this because we have had occasions of hostility even towards neighbors, even legally, Mr. Speaker. And we have been retrogressing as a community. Remember, Mr. Speaker, that some years back, not some years back, many years back, we actually used to have a common examination. And Mr. Speaker, I pray that Senator Medu and Senator Mungatana, because we have heard them in silence, that they may also allow us to be heard in silence. Mr. Speaker, we used to have, in these countries, we used to have East African Certificate of Education, which I think was the precursor to Kenya Certificate of Education before we came again to KCSE. And so we were somewhere many, many years ago, but we have retrogressed because of lack of trust amongst these nations, Mr. Speaker. We used to have, like Senator Oburu Odinga, the youth winger, said, a single currency. We may want to challenge the sitting heads of state to see to it that we have retrogressed and to come up with new ideas to make this integration of the nations, of these nations, even more efficient, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we cannot afford to have land that has been set aside but has not been utilized, Mr. Speaker. We are collecting a lot of revenue. Different countries are collecting a lot of revenue. In this post, Mr. Speaker, you must, any rational human being, Mr. Speaker, will invest where there are returns. And so if there are returns in form of the revenue collected in this particular border posts, Mr. Speaker, we should also be able to reinvest the same. Make a good parking yard for these trucks. I mean, put up social facilities in those areas. I mean, and a fire brigade in each of these posts, Mr. Speaker, because like Senator Medu, who claims to have some leadership position somewhere, has said, you must feed the cow that you milk. And Mr. Speaker, we want to call upon our heads of state to trust one another. I mean, to lead us in trusting one another, because we are one people. We must be able to move freely. We must be able to move our goods freely in these countries, Mr. Speaker. But most importantly, to be underlined and that we want to underscore, it is the importance of investing in technology in order for us to save the man hours that are being wasted here by truck drivers, I mean, and their assistants, and each one of those who come to this border post, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I support, and because I see Mondegit Wonaga also is requesting to speak.
Senator Joyce Kori.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also contribute on this very, very important motion. Honorable Speaker, I am lucky to have been part of the committee that had an opportunity to interact with the management board of the border post. And indeed, the challenges that has been raised within the motion are challenges that was raised yesterday, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the challenges range from the infrastructure, and Honorable Speaker, it's high time that the government move with speed to make sure that it addresses these issues, because this is one of the areas where we are getting a lot of revenues to a tune of over 10 billion shillings. And Honorable Speaker, when you see the amenities that they are having, ranging from the social amenities, Honorable Speaker, you really feel for the management, because I would want to believe that they need to have the best, because this is one of the areas that is giving us resources as a country. Not only that, Honorable Speaker, I also witnessed that we have the PIs around, and the PIs, Honorable Speaker, are not utilized. And I would want to ask the relevant ministry, that is the Ministry of Lands and the CS in charge of security, to move with speed and assist the border post in terms of graveling these lands, because these are PIs and they can assist them, because this is one way of decongesting the traffic within these areas, Honorable Speaker. We also realize there's a lot of debris in the sites, Honorable Speaker, which I believe if the government is serious with this, Honorable Speaker, they can be able to address these issues, because we also discussed a number of issues with them on the issues of personnel, where they have shortage in terms of personnel, Honorable Speaker. I know it's because of their budgeting issues, but I want to say that indeed, if it's going to be addressed, we are going to realize a good performance in terms of revenue collection, and even the good condition that is supposed to be given to the people working there, Honorable Speaker. Otherwise, I don't want to labor much on this, but I want to support. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
This is becoming difficult. You know, I'm trying to balance regions, gender, regions,
Lamu, coast.
Senator Esther, can you?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'm happy to be back again to Busia. It's not the first time we are here. The last time we were here with the Senate Committee on Trade was on the 4th of November 2023. And it's very unfortunate that what I'm listening from members are the same lamentations we got when we went on site with the area Senator Umtata. Mr. Speaker, I feel like we need to really look at this critically, because every now and then the same issues are raised and looks like we are not addressing those issues. Senator Mungatana spoke about technology, which I equally would wish to echo, because when you look at it, most of the systemic challenges are arising because we have not invested highly in technology so that we are able to save time, especially when the staff internally are working on some of the like scanning. You see, it takes a very long time. Had our country invested in technology, we'd save on issues like time. Mr. Speaker, we also have the issue of small-scale traders, the informal traders. This is very rampant. Why? They are avoiding the cumbersome procedures that are in formal trade, like regulations, the duties which are being levied, Mr. Speaker. But I'm really happy, and I would wish to support and say thank you to members in this House, because the Senate passed the Protection of Livelihood Bill, which is now in the National Assembly. And this bill, once becomes law, is going to sort the mess we are seeing at the border here, because this is going to compel county governments to incentivize areas where small-scale traders can operate from. So in one way, the county government will be making money, and the informal traders will also be thriving in conditions which are favorable for them, and then they'll have no complaint when you're taxing them. Because the issue right now, you're taxing people out of the small scale trading they engage in, but the conditions of wherever they exist are pathetic. Sanitation, very poor. So, Mr. Speaker, apart from the other issues of infrastructure, there is a lot of small-scale trading that is going on there, which needs to be put into order so that they also contribute to this economy, and on the other hand, benefit from the structures the county governments are going to provide. And I really hope the governor here takes that seriously, because he's a member of the Trade Committee on the side of the Council of Governors. So he should lead from the front in ensuring that the people of Busia can make money through informal trading, which comprises of 60 to 70% of trade that happens in this country. Mr. Speaker, finally, when you look at the staff who are, the government officials who are working there, some have taken very long before undergoing training or retraining, so that they are able to execute their mandates in confidence that whatever they are doing is up to date. They compare with what officers in other areas are doing, so that we also keep with the international market on what new technologies and other practices that they are adopting. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Kamau Githuku.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also contribute to this very important motion that has been brought in on the floor of this House by the Majority Leader. Honorable Speaker, I am privileged to be among the people that happened to visit the border, Busia border. Honorable Speaker, the people of Busia are watching. And whatever, Honorable Speaker, we are discussing here today, they want to see whether whatever we are discussing will be kept into practice, so that, Honorable Speaker, their challenges can be addressed. In every growing country, Honorable Speaker, there are some factors that contribute to the growth of that country. One of the factors, Honorable Speaker, that contributes to the growth of every country is the revenue collection. Honorable Speaker, I was privileged today to attend to a very important meeting this morning, and we were informed that the projection that KRA have over this financial year 2025-2026, they are intending to do a collection of 9.1 billion in the financial year 2025-2026. Honorable Speaker, so far, they have only managed to collect 3.9 billion. Honorable Speaker, the deficit that has not been collected depends on so many things in order for it to be realized, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there are some factors that will contribute into allowing that deficit to be realized, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, there are some things that need to be addressed. One of the things that need to be addressed, Honorable Speaker, is the issue of how the staffs that are worked in that organization, Honorable Speaker, will be facilitated. Mr. Speaker, one of the issues that we have noted with a lot of concern is the issue of health concern. Mr. Speaker, out of the 20 staff establishment that are supposed to be working in the health sector, Mr. Speaker, it's only 7 staffs that are available. Honorable Speaker, the entire department is understaffed, and I don't see the way they are going to do their job effectively if they are such understaffed. Honorable Speaker, that is an issue that the government needs to address with a lot of concern. Another issue, Honorable Speaker, is the working condition of the people in that border, whatever, Honorable Speaker, and that thing need to be addressed, because if those staffs do not be given an opportunity to do their work effectively, Honorable Speaker, the resources that they are supposed to collect that will contribute to the Kenyan GDP, Honorable Speaker, will not be realized. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, I am urging the relevant departments to do what is needful, Honorable Speaker, to make sure that these people are well facilitated, Honorable Speaker. There is a very important factor also that we have noted, the issue of scanners. Honorable Speaker, the scanners that are supposed to safeguard the interest of Kenyans, Honorable Speaker, because of the goods that might be counterfeit, maybe coming out or going out of the country, Honorable Speaker, there are some insufficient scanners. Honorable Speaker, those scanners need to be the issue needs to be well addressed, so that, Honorable Speaker, the members of the public can be well facilitated. Honorable Speaker, I also want to point out a very important issue on the issue of PWDs. Honorable Speaker, in all the infrastructures that are in that organizations, Honorable Speaker, they have not considered the issue of PWDs. That is an issue that needs to be addressed, Honorable Speaker, so that the people living with disability, Honorable Speaker, will also not feel that they are sidelined, Honorable Speaker. With that,
Senator Kenyan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to support this motion that addresses the perennial and endless challenges that we have continued to experience in our Busia-Malaba border. And because these are very key lifelines to the cross-border trade and integration as well. Mr. Speaker, 60% of the trade that we have between Kenya and Uganda, and even the wider East African community, happens through this border. And members have emphasized on the amount that we generate in terms of revenue from that border. But I wish someone could quantify the losses in billions that we make as well due to chronic inefficiency. And to me, the inefficiency is by design, because I do not think the suggestions we are giving here to fix this mess is not known. I think there are people who are benefiting in a big way from this mess and who would not want it fixed. Mr. Speaker, that's why I support fully this motion to have the National Treasury, the KENHA, KRA, the Ministry of Trade, and the Ministry of East Africa come up with a concrete way forward, not another feasibility study, to come up with a way forward with timelines to end this once and for all. Because the lost business opportunities that we have in the country is immense. I used to wonder why, if you pay for maize, for example, on a Monday, you transfer money, the maize will come the next Monday after 1 week. Yet, it is a place you can drive within 7 hours, Mr. Speaker. And that is the loss of business opportunities that I'm talking about. Even after adopting the one-stop border post, we still, on the ground, it's like the two border posts are on two different worlds, Mr. Speaker. We have, as a Senate, to pass this motion so that we help the people of Busia, we increase revenue, we have a decent livelihood for the neighboring communities, because even on the human side, the communities who live around here with tall, I have seen the huge, crazy jams of trucks parked on the roadside, emitting those fumes, you know, and the communities who live around there, they need, we owe them decency and an environment free from all those toxins, Mr. Speaker. The drivers too, you know, they are the ones who are facilitators of these revenues that we are collecting. We need to give them a decent environment where they can rest and operate under humanly possible hours. You cannot expect someone to be on 24 hours without sleep, without decent places to go, and, you know, have calls of nature and all that, Mr. Speaker. And those few remarks I support.
Honorable Senators, we are doing so well. So far, so good. But before I give the next speaker, let me acknowledge, make this communication to acknowledge visiting students and teachers from ACK Moding Primary School. Honorable Senators, I would like to acknowledge students and teachers in the speakers gallery this morning of our visiting students from ACK Moding Primary School in Teso North, Busia County. The group comprises of 44 students and 7 teachers who are undertaking an academic exposition. On behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome to them and wish them all the best during their visit. Thank you. Since those senator is not around, I want to give Senator, okay. Under 1 minute, you can acknowledge the students.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm happy for the opportunity to welcome the people from Moding ACK Primary School in Teso North. Mr. Speaker, sir, Teso North is a hardship area in this county. There are major challenges in water and stuff like that. The other area that is heavily challenged with water is Bunyala and Samia. So when you see the students shining like this, they go to extreme lengths to be able to achieve that shine. And so I welcome them here to see how the senators of the Republic of Kenya operate, and hope that they will work hard at their studies and that they will also become leaders in their own right, be it teachers, be it doctors, be it engineers, be it politicians, be it farmers, so that they become successful people who can move this country forward, who can move this county forward. Their efforts are required, and so I encourage them to focus. Right now is the time to focus on your schools, on your studies, and we are facing examinations soon. I also take the opportunity to wish them, those who will be sitting national exams, I wish them success. But most of all, I welcome you here. It's a very, very rare opportunity. Maybe the next time we might have Senate machinery in Busia is 47 years to come. Yes. So it's not an opportunity that you should lose. You are sharing in the history of the Senate of Kenya. Take it to your heart that you have been among the very, very few lucky people. And when you go out there, aspire to be successful in whatever field you feel chosen to appear in. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I take the opportunity and I welcome the pupils of SK Moding Primary School. And also, Mr. Speaker, sir, Teso North is one of my, what you would call, Baba calls them bedrooms. Teso North, I got almost 99% of the votes that were cast. So it's it's one of my strongholds, and I thank their parents. I can't thank them. I thank their parents for the support they gave me and their elder brother. So thank you very much, and enjoy your time here. Be blessed.
You never know, maybe they are the ones who request.
Yes, you know, I think they are the ones, because when you were campaigning, I didn't have money to hand out. So I used to throw my flyers as I went around the track, and the kids would pick them and take them to their parents. So they were key link to my campaign.
Yeah, so
thank you, Mr. Speaker.
So trend carefully, Senator Mundigi.
Okay, Bwana Spika, asante kwa kunipa nafasi niweze kuchangia mjadala wa majority leader kuhusu mambo ya mpaka na mambo ya biashara. Bwana Spika, ni mambo mengi tungetaka iangaliwe, kwa sababu tunaangalia mambo ya wale wanaendesha magari, hatujaangalia wale watu wenye biashara, kwa sababu wakati wanakaa kwa barabara wenye biashara inasoroteka, familia inapata shinda, mambo ya kuokota usuru inapata shinda. Kwa hivyo ningeomba serikali ya Kenya na serikali ya Uganda na serikali ya Tanzania iweze kuangalia kama ni barabara kutoka Mombasa mpaka Bonda iweze kutengenezwa, ipanuliwe, tuwe na dual carriage road, na pia mambo ya SGR kama ni vitu zingine iwe ikipepwa na SGR, ndio uweze kuona mambo ya biashara itaweza kuendelea vizuri na watu wasiwe nakaa kwa njia, kwa sababu iende ikawa hawa wazee na wale akina mama wanaendesha hizi magari, iende ikawa hata wavikishi miaka 60 kwa sababu ya shinda ile wanapata katika barabara, wanakaa sana. Kama ni sisi hapa, unakuta tukua maseneta, unakaa muda kidogo nasikia mwili imeregea, iende ikawa kwa wiki moja ile dereva anakuwa kwa ile barabara, gari inaharibika kwa sababu barabara ni mbaya, unakuta kuna shinda nyingi, unakuta kuna shinda. Hata sisi wale watu wa eneo hili kutoka Mombasa ama kona zote, unakuta kwa njia kama uko na gari kidogo, unakuta kwa barabara unakaa masaa yote juu ya ile. Kwa hivyo ningeomba serikali ya muungano iweze kuangalia mambo ya kupanuliwa barabara, pia mambo ya kutengenezwa vizuri, na mambo ya SGR na mambo mengi iweze kuangaliwa, ndio wale magari isiweze kukaa kwa barabara. Bwana Spika, watu wengi wana mambo ya mpaka, mambo ya barabara, lakini ningetaka kuomba, isipokuwa ni vile hakuna wakati Senator Omogen na pia Senator wa Kirinyaga ambaye ni Murango na Profesa Kamar, isipokuwa ni vile hakuna masaa. Sisi nikiwa mwenyekiti mdogo wa kamati wa kilimo, tulitoka hapa jana tukaenda Butarangi ambaye ni Lake Victoria. Wale ile biashara imesoroteka, imeharibika kwa sababu ya ile pahali, kwa sababu wanaramika wakati wanaenda pale wavuvi wa samaki, huwa unawekwa ndani na watu wa Uganda. Sasa imefika nivute nikuvute, wale wanawekwa au haikuja wanawekwa, unakuta kuna vita mingi. Pia wanaramika mambo ya biashara inaleta shinda, kwa sababu mambo ya chakula ya samaki iko hali ya juu. Kwa hiyo kaunti hii ya Busia inafaa iangalie. Pia hata machini unakuta ile kilimo imeharibika. Kwa hivyo mambo ya umasikini, watoto wamewacha kwenda shule, unakuta kuna shinda. Kwa hivyo ningeomba Bwana Spika, kukiangaliwa mambo ya mpaka, hata mambo ya uvuvi wa samaki weze kuangaliwa, kwa sababu nilikuwa nikikuja hapa, mimi nilikuwa kifikiria mambo ya kilimo ya samaki hapa iko hali ya juu, lakini naendelea kuvivia, unakuta umaskini iko pale, na umaskini ikuwa pale, mambo ya mbusha, mambo mengi ya ndawa ya kulevya itakuwa na shinda. Unakuta watoto yenda wezi kwenda shule, yenda hata mambo ya economy recovery katika hii kaunti ya Busia itakuwa na shinda. Kwa hivyo ningeomba iweze kuangaliwa mambo ya uvuvi wa samaki, ikiangaliwa mambo ya barabara. Ni aibu kubwa sana wakati saa hii si wakati wa communist, sio wakati wa kuweka watu ndani. Kwa hiyo serikali ya William Ruto ambaye tunajua inafanya kazi vizuri iweze kukaa na serikali ya Uganda, watu wetu wakienda kuvuva samaki wasiweze kuwekwa ndani. Kwa hiyo kiangalia mambo yote, iangalie mambo ya hao watu, kwa sababu mambo ya afya ya binadamu inatakikana. Ndio kaunti zile zingine ikiendelea vizuri, hata kaunti ya Busia mambo ya kilimo iweze kuendelea vizuri, kwa sababu bila chakula, bila kitu yote unakuta watu wanaendelea kupata shida. Kwa hiyo Bwana Spika, hii mjadala nikiwa Senator wa Embu County Alexander Munyi Modigi na yunga mkono. Asante Bwana Spika. Daktari.
Honorable Senators, the Committee on National Cohesion and Regional Integration, chaired by Senator Chute, visited Maraba Mboda yesterday. And he has a report that I would wish senators to benefit from the interaction at the Maraba Mboda. Senator Chute. You know, the chair is here to guide the House with a lot of respect, and I've made a good, clear communication on why Senator Chute should give us that report.
Thank you.
Chair, I can see you, but I want you to come almost towards the end so that also you can hear out senators are saying, because most of the work you are supposed to do in a committee.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. As you've said, we went to Busia, one-stop border post yesterday, and we were here before on the same issue, and we had an opportunity to be having my co-chair, the trade. He visited Malaba, and our committee went to the border in Busia. Honorable Speaker, we met with the manager of the institution, who is also the chair of different departments, including the other side of the border also. And when we visited Busia, Honorable Speaker, we found that there are so many issues that needs to be done. When we were here last time, we talked about several issues, and we found that they don't have a committee that deals with corruption. And we indicated to them that time they should have a committee that takes care of issue of corruption. And when we visited yesterday, the report we got is that they have had a committee, they've instituted a committee that deals with corruption. Honorable Speaker, we started when we went to Busia border, one-stop border post. The first thing we did is we saw the toilet. The toilet which has been there 7 years ago, this toilet was given to an individual to manage. And that individual is not paying any money to KRA, but is collecting money from passengers who are crossing the border to Uganda and also crossing the border into Kenya. That is what we've said. We found that is not right. And we are going to deal with these things based. We are going to be having a meeting with the Commissioner General of Customs, Kenya Revenue Authority. That is what we are going to be asking him. Honorable Speaker, the other thing we found is congestion at the Busia border post. It has a maximum of 3 kilometers. Why do we have this congestion? Is because of the road. The space, parking space, is only it can accommodate only 40 units, and the biggest issue is flooding. The place floods, and it is flooding because the drainage system is not working well. Why? Because the county government has not taken care of the drainage system in the whole town. Honorable Speaker, the other issue that was raised by the manager is panya routes, which are affecting the collection of revenue. They don't have enough staff. The staff they have currently are 66 out of required 81. They have a shortage of 15 staffs. And apparently, interns from Public Service Commission are 6. And if they are given 9 more, they will be having sufficient staff to take care of their border issues. They've asked for drones, for Speaker, and if they were gotten a drone at least, they would have had, they would have managed the border issues. Honorable Speaker, the other issue is health issue. Honorable Speaker, you know, we were told that the issue of health, they don't have an ambulance here. If they get a patient who came from, let's say, Uganda, and comes with a kind of disease, what they can only do is ask the county government to bring an ambulance there. If there is no ambulance, then that patient will stay there. And also, there is a risk of isolation. There is no good isolation room. Ambulance is not there. Those are the things that needed to be taken care of. I think if Mr. Speaker, you can give me 5 more minutes, I can conclude. Because this is a report we've gotten yesterday. This is a report that our senators...
1 minute.
Okay, so let me move very fast.
Yes, member of the majority party.
Allow me to plead with you, Mr. Speaker, and to beg your indulgence, given that these 2 committees visited 2 stations, the Committee on Trade and Cohesion. Will I be in order if I plead for them that you allow them to do, the 2 chairpersons to do 10 minutes each? I had intended to make that request to earlier, given that they are giving just a draft report of what they saw. Mr. Speaker, I beg for your kind indulgence. Thank you.
Majority Leader, you also went to the Mbunda Post today. You give your report, isn't it? Chute, Senator Chute and his committee went to the same Mbunda Post. He's giving us the same report that you gave us. If I give still the chair trade, he will give us the same story. You know, these senators here, honorable senators, also want to give the input to enhance those reports. So therefore, since they have been here since morning with a lot of respect, let us also give them a chance to at least say something on this issue. Because we have a very few minutes remaining, so we can get a few of them to make their comments. Senator Chute.
Okay, Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. I was talking about the laboratory issue. They don't have enough capacity to manage the laboratory, and also the size is too small for detecting diseases and also managing goods. There is the issue of disability. As Senator Kamawa said, it is not disability friendly. There is the issue of sanitation, very poor sanitation. They've talked about, I've said about this also, border porosity. That's a big problem. So the solution, Honorable Speaker, to summarize, I think what we need to do is to ask the KRA Commissioner General to come before this committee, the Committee of Trade jointly, and our committee who are in charge of East African Affairs, to discuss the issue of fast-tracking trade going into Uganda and Kenya. Surprisingly, Honorable Speaker, increment on collection has increased from 4.8 billion 2022-23 to today. They are going to collect 9.1 billion shillings. And I'm very sure, as it is now, they've collected 3.9. By the end of June, they must have collected over 10.
Senator Commissioner Okongo Mwen.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also rise to support this motion that is really meant to address the systematic challenges at the Busia-Malaba border. Mr. Speaker, this motion reminds me, and I want to take this opportunity to speak to the people of Busia. This motion, Mr. Speaker, reminds me the importance that is attached to the Senate Constitutional Amendment Bill, Mr. Speaker, because the issues that we have identified and the proposals we are making can only see the light of the day if the Senate of the Republic of Kenya is given full powers to look at issues touching on expenditure of taxes that we raise, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I don't think, Mr. Speaker, there is any house other than the Senate of the Republic of Kenya that can take time out to, come to a town like Busia, in a county like Busia, visit the border post, look at the challenges that are facing the country, and then come up with a motion like this that is proposing interventions, Mr. Speaker. So I want to urge, Mr. Speaker, the Kenyans in particular, Mr. Speaker, to pay keen attention to the motion that has been sponsored by the majority leader and the minority leader so that we change our governance structure, Mr. Speaker, to give senators of the Republic of Kenya a chance to have a voice on how money is spent. Mr. Speaker, if you watched the CNN the last 2 weeks, the senators in America were able to, bring the issues of expenditure in the U.S. to a standstill till they debate on issues touching on health care in the U.S. because they wanted enough money to be allocated by the government for health care. How I wish, Mr. Speaker, that the opportunity that we are giving the country, they can support this motion, Mr. Speaker, so that we can have a say on how money is spent. Mr. Speaker, yesterday when we adjourned the House, if you saw the line of trucks that was outside here, Mr. Speaker, I think it was stretching for more than 2 kilometers, Mr. Speaker. There is no way we are going to make our country attractive in doing business if we don't make easy movement of trucks along this border, Mr. Speaker. Infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, you can't believe that driving from Kisumu to Busia, you're coming to a border post where the government is raking in billions of revenue, Mr. Speaker. I wonder whether Kenya National Highways Authority has any sense of pride, Mr. Speaker. What does it take to repair potholes on our roads, Mr. Speaker? Because we can adjourn and drive along Busia, Kisumu Road, Mr. Speaker. Look at the potholes on this road. What does it take for Kenya National Highways Authority to repair these roads? And Mr. Speaker, in 2007, I was then the chair of Law Society of Kenya when we proposed the creation of these 3 roads agencies to give them independence, to remove politics from issues touching on road infrastructure. The first chair, Mr. Speaker, Anna Mreithi, who chaired National Highways Authority, was proposed by myself as the chair of Law Society of Kenya. And when she went to the National Highways Authority, she was appointed chair of that body. Mary Karen Sorobi, who has just been nominated to be a commissioner with IEBC, Mr. Speaker, was the successor to Anna Mreithi as a representative of Law Society of Kenya, because it was meant to get some input from professionals, Mr. Speaker, so that we can improve our infrastructure. I was in my county, Mr. Speaker, a road between Kemera and Magombo, Mr. Speaker. If you look at the potholes, you'll think you're driving through a cattle truck. It's unfortunate. Can't Kenya National Highways Authority put money aside, Mr. Speaker, to repair potholes on our roads? We have traveled in many countries, even in Europe. You don't see the kind of potholes that we see on our roads. Maybe we should make a demand that the current head of that body should actually resign, Mr. Speaker. He doesn't need to continue being in office, Mr. Speaker. So I support, Mr. Speaker, and hope that we are not just lamenting, that some action can be taken.
Okay. Senator Sheikh Omar. You know, I thought I recalled the high of the DS emeritus, but now I don't know what happened. Our eye contact missed one another. Sorry. Senator Sheikh.
Sorry. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, as we discuss the border points on this addressing systemic challenges, Mr. Speaker, as we discuss in these systemic challenges, I hope it will change to another level, to be having a solution to these challenges, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Uganda and Kenya, Ethiopia and Somali, all are the members of COMESA. And COMESA is promoting region economic growth and integrity of traditional facilities.
What is your point of order, Senator Chute?
Ethiopia, point of information, sorry. Sorry? Ethiopia is not a member of COMESA.
Is it point of order or point of information?
Point of information, Speaker.
But is she intended to be informed by you?
Yes, I think so.
No, Mr. Speaker.
Why no? Because it is not a member. So, they correct it. I correct it.
So, proceed.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I don't need to be informed. I know that Uganda and Tanzania, Kenya, Ethiopia, Somalia are members of COMESA, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, COMESA, it makes the trade facilities and economic to be integrating with all 21 members of the COMESA. Mr. Speaker, as we discuss this border point, Bandera has 2 borders, that is Ethiopia and Somali. Mr. Speaker, the challenges which has been highlighted here, all are the same, except in Mandera County, the border points are not formal. There is lack of infrastructure, which is there is none, and expansion of the roads, and there is none of the roads. But when it comes to ferrying of foodstuffs, there is no customs duty which has been collected, which is supposed to be collected. That shows that the county is losing a lot of revenue collection on that line. Mr. Speaker, border point, as we are discussing, it is all about, when I hear the speakers are saying about the economic and ferrying of foodstuffs and whatever, but there is an issue of human trafficking, Mr. Speaker. Here in Busia, there is child labor, which most of the time they are coming from Uganda, specifically housemaid. They are underage and they are working in our homes. They are from Uganda. They just pass through these border points. And Mr. Speaker, even though we need to be a society which our kids to be in somewhere, we need to specifically restrict the trafficking between the 2 borders. It's also accompanying the same to Mandera County. There is a human trafficking from Ethiopia to Mandera. There are workers, household workers, which are household maids, which are currently everywhere in Mandera County. That means there's no regulations in such kind of, which increase the security of Mandera County. And Mr. Speaker, if you have heard, there is this issue of Somali, between Somali, Jubaland, and whatever. That means if there is a strictly a formal border point, there will have been this spillover war in the Mandera County. Mr. Speaker, I urge the Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Treasury, take their work seriously and do this issue of challenges to be corrected, to be not systematic, and it must be solution through ICT. Specifically, we have to take our budget on the issue of ICT so that this
Senator Professor Margaret Kamar. Yeah, 3 and have your 5 minutes. Just relax. Yeah, relax.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this. Mr. Speaker, I've been to that border post 5 times. 2 times under the East African Community, once, twice under a committee that was investigating maize, and the problems don't seem to be changing between the border of Malaba and the border of Busia. But, Mr. Speaker, I want to share the experience of Namanga, because that's another border point that I've been in, and I think last year I led a delegation from the African Union on the same. Kenya is a very nicely placed country because we are in COMESA, we are in EAC, and we are in the African Union. And the goal is to integrate these blocks. And in the integration, there are 2 rules that are required. That of free movement of persons, which the African Union is pushing for now, and the other one of free trade blocks. The importance of a border point is truly just to allow free flow of goods. When the chair of the committee said that there are panya routes because the border point has failed. And if the border point fails, people will look for ways of crossing. After all, they're neighbors. The Mudia Wari family are on both sides of the river. And so are many other families, and they will cross. I think it is very important that we realize that we are making more losses by inefficient management of our border. But, Mr. Speaker, the Namanga border post is completely different. It's completely different because resources have been put there. If you go there, the one-stop border post of Namanga, Kenya is being praised. Kenya is the darling in the continent because of that. And a lot of countries are going to Namanga, not knowing that we have a problem in Busia and Malaba. But in Namanga, and we were there 2 months ago, we were able to actually observe that the vehicle spends not more than 8 minutes. 8 minutes to cross. Because at one border point, at the one-stop border post, you have the Tanzanian and the Kenyan customs persons sitting next to one another, everybody with a stamp. You exit and you are stamped entry. And you don't do anything in the country that you are entering. You are cleared from where you are being cleared. You are cleared from Tanzania, and in entering Kenya, you don't change anything. The scanner there works. I'm informed that the scanner here even doesn't work. If you have a scanner which does not work, then you have nothing to talk about. So the scanner there works, and the scanner on the Kenyan side, it just flows. The Tanzanian side, which was busy installing their scanner, is so efficient because of the number of members of staff that they have. The number of staff, they just go, you go to the go down, they open within a very short time, they have verified your goods, and you go. Again, they are not going for more than, on the other side, they are not going for more than 15 minutes. Unless we correct this, it's not going to help us, Mr. Speaker, and we cannot talk proudly of free movement of persons in the continent or having a free trade area in the continent unless we kill this mess. My plea to the 2 committees is that they cannot, I can see the recommendations I've given us, which are excellent and I truly support, but I would like to urge them to have a joint meeting as a committee and invite the 2 CSs, CS of Trade, CS of the East African Community, KRA, and Kenya, and come up with a solution once. Because the reason the Tanzanian side is good is because Kenya has joined a group of 8. When the African Free Trade Area was developed, there were countries that it was open for 8 countries to start a relationship, and that is what happened. Because Tanzania and Kenya are in that group of 8, Namanga has been perfected for that. And it's very easy to do that. I also urge the committee, Mr. Speaker, that they go to Namanga and compare the notes when they are meeting these people. We must meet the ministers and we must force them to do the right thing because they are losing more revenue that they would have collected and made us even better. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Any information from a professor cannot be verified by someone who is not a professor. But I wanted to try the resident of Namanga. Yes, Senator Tobiko Pelis, but make sure you don't contradict the good professor on our remarks.
I will be very careful not to contradict Professor. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me say, as I support this motion, that, Mr. Speaker, any border posts or even any border town is the face of Kenya, you know, to foreigners who are coming in from across the border. So, Mr. Speaker, we should be careful as a nation to make sure that every border town, every border post, the border post is working, the town has a good face, has facilities that are working, infrastructure that is well maintained, Mr. Speaker, because that is the face of our country. Just the way we want when visitors alight at JKIA, they should, we are now proud that there is the express highway, they don't get into a jam, there are good hotels around the airport. Mr. Speaker, we should treat these border towns like Busia, Namanga, Taveta, you know, with that kind of seriousness, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as we talk about the Busia border posts, and I think this applies to all border posts, that it is to enhance trade, facilitation of trade, and to promote efficient movement of people and goods, Mr. Speaker. To reduce the cost, as Professor has said, of doing business in the region, and she has said the Namanga border post has fairly succeeded in reducing the kind of time spent in that border post, Mr. Speaker. But what I wanted the good professor to note is that the movement of goods may have, the time may have reduced. But if you look at the social aspects around Namanga border post, the informal traders, particularly women, have no shelters, have no sanitation you know, facilities, which are very important. Mr. Speaker, these are the things we want. There is also disjointed agency coordination, you know, KRA, immigration, and all that. I think there should be a seamless way of these government agencies working to make it, you know, a more friendlier environment for people to operate and for traders to operate, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm also a member of the Committee of Roads, Infrastructure, and Housing, Mr. Speaker, and one time we visited the Taveta Holili border post. Mr. Speaker, what we noted at the Holili border post is that there are goods that have been kept by KRA. There's a storage there that KRA has kept, even vehicles, for decades, for so long, for years. And I don't know why KRA will not clear up the kind of, goods. And I think some are disputed. I think some have not been cleared. Some have court cases. And so there is a lot that is being stored at the border, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when we also, at the Holili border post, we realize, whereas the Tanzanian side looks like it's operating well, the Kenyan side looked like a deserted home, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I will just say that, in fact, even the sanitation on the Kenyan side, the buildings were horrible, dusty. And then the equipments that were being used were, I think time has passed that they need to be modernized, Mr. Speaker. Even to check goods, particularly foodstuffs, they use a long rod, you know, to just whatever. Mr. Speaker, I'm sure there are better modernized ways of us, you know, checking on having testing equipments, Mr. Speaker. The scanners at the border post, Mr. Speaker. I think these are things that are needed. Mr. Speaker, let me just say, whereas Namanga is fairly good in terms of passage of goods, a lot needs to be done to facelift that town
for the sake of the Kenyan situation, Mr. Speaker. The roads, the water issue in Namanga needs to be addressed, Mr. Speaker, but particularly, as I said, the issue of...
Hebu sasa tumsikize seneta wa Kirinyaga, ugatuzi wa Kirinyaga.
Asante sana mstahiki Spika kwa kumpatia mwenyekiti wa Kiswahili kitukuzwa nafasi kuweza kuchangia katika mada ambayo iko mbele yetu siku ya leo. Mstahiki Spika, kwanza ningetaka niungane na mwenzangu Profesa Kamal, mambo ameongea kuhusu Namanga, nimepitia pale, na ni kweli kwamba kama kuna ufanisi uko pale, kwa sababu unapopita pale unamaliziwa, unashindwa hata kwanza utaenda wapi.
Yes, seneta wa Mombasa, Mohamed Faki.
Nimemsikia mtaalamu wa Kiswahili akisema manda, nichangie manda. Kuna mada na manda. Unasikia? Manda ni kisiwa kule Lamu ambako anatoka Seneta Githuku. Mada ni mazungumzo yaliyoko mbele ya bunge la taifa. Asante mheshimiwa.
Seneta Murango.
Asante sana Mstahiki Spika. Mstahiki Spika, ni kwamba Kiswahili wanaozungumza wametoka katika maeneo tofauti, na kwa hivyo lugha ya Kiswahili wanaochangia wako na lafudhi tofauti Mstahiki Spika. Kwa hivyo ningeomba kwamba Senator Mombasa atanuia radhi, kwa sababu muhimu wa sabuni ni povu. Tunawasiliana, anajua naongelea kuhusu nini, atanipatia hiyo nafasi. Asante sana Mstahiki Spika. Mstahiki Spika, nataka niseme ya kwamba wanaoishi katika maeneo kama ya Malamba, Busia, ni kwamba kuna matatizo mengi wanaopitia. Ya kwanza ni msongamano wa magari. Na kwa hivyo ni kusema miundo msingi itaharibika tena kwa haraka kwa sababu magari ni mengi, na kwa hivyo wanapaa pia kupewa nafasi wakati barabara na miundo msingi inapotengenezwa. Unajua Mstahiki Spika, zile fedha ambazo nchi inaingiza kutoka kwa hapa Malaba ni pesa nyingi sana. Na unajua ng'ombe anayekamuliwa ndo anapewa nyasi kwanza, na mwenye kisima apangi foleni ili achote maji kwenye kisima. Kwa hivyo Mstahiki Spika, hiyo ingekuwa ni vizuri kama ataangaliwa zaidi. La pili Mstahiki Spika, barabara nyingi ambazo zinatumika na magari pia kuna kuanga na ajali tofauti. Na kwa hivyo wakati ajali inatokea ni vizuri pia kuwe na hospitali madhubuti ya kushughulikia maneno yale. Na hiyo ni kusema ya kwamba Busia ni mahali ambapo panafaa kuwa na hospitali ambayo inatimbu majeraha yanatokana na ajali za barabarani, ili wanaoishi na wanaopitia pia waweze kunufaika. Mstahiki Spika, jambo lingine ni kwamba saa hii tuko katika enzi ya akili nemba, akili unde, na teknolojia imesonga mbele sana. Na kwa hivyo tungeweza kutumia ile teknolojia, matatizo mengi yangekuwa yamepungua. Nimesoma kwa ripoti kwamba kuna machini nyingi pale hazifanyi kazi. Kuna vitambazo ambazo hazifanyi kazi, kwa kimombo ndo zinaitwa scanner, ili Senator Mombasa asinje akapotea katika mazungumzo ambayo wanazungumza siku ya leo. Na pia kuna msongamano kwa taasisi nyingi sana za serikali zingine ambazo zimechukua tu vyumba, lakini hazina maana kubwa kuwa katika eneo lile. Kama vile kuna taasisi ya AFA, kuna taasisi ya KEBS, taasisi ya KEFIS, kuna pia taasisi zingine ziko pale. Mstahiki Spika, zingeweza kuachwa taasisi kiasi ambao sitaweza kurahisisha hata wakati wenye wanakuja kuleta mizigo, upitie hata kama ni ofisi 3 peke yake ili uweze kuvukisha mizigo yako Mstahiki Spika. Lakini kwa sasa unapoenda na makaratasi mpaka umbebe file, kwa sababu kuna hata madaktari wa ng'ombe ambao wanakaa kwa mipaka na sijui anahusika vipi kwa yule mtu ambaye anajaribu kuvukisha mahindi. Mstahiki Spika, na ya mwisho ningesema kwamba usalama katika maeneo yale yanafaa pia yaangaliwe sana sana kwa kutengeneza barabara ambazo zinatosha magari kupita, maegesho ya magari na vitu kama hizo, Mr. Speaker. Na nikimalizia, Mr. Speaker, ni kwamba kamati zinazohusika zinafaa tunapomalizia hapa waweze kwenda kukaa chini, kuvalia njuga jambo hili na kuhakikisha kwamba mambo ambayo tumeongea hapa tukiwa Busia, wananchi watakuja kuyaona matunda. Kwa sababu tukiachia mahali ambapo tumefikisha, tutakuwa tu ni kuongea tumeongea, ni kusafiri tumesafiri, kutembea tumetembea, lakini wananchi wataachwa tu bado na tambo ambayo wako nayo siku ya leo. Asante sana Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mulgo Julius.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to also air my views along with those of my colleagues. It is true that borders such as Busia and Malaba and Namanga and the others are points that need cooperation from neighboring countries such as Uganda, Tanzania, and the others. And so I was talking to the police chief here yesterday, and he said that some of the times the clocking of trucks that stay here for a day or two are contributed by the two countries. Sometimes the Ugandan side slows down and therefore making this side not be able to clear and let trucks cross to the other side. And therefore, the two countries need to really work together close by so that the managers or the responsible people on either side work together very much so that there is a daily communication as to what is happening so that clearances are in knowledge of both sides. Because without cooperation and all that, we incur a lot of losses. And one of the losses that we incur is time. Because the number of hours that truck drivers and those people that they are helpers spend on such borders are very many hours, and therefore losing time, and loss of time means loss of even the probably money that they have to spend. Staying longer means those drivers will not have money to spend on the way and be able to reach their destination and back. And then also the losses of or risk of goods going bad, like if they are carrying tomatoes and other agricultural products, they will rot on the way before they reach their market, and therefore that is a lot of loss. And so there is need to really speed up so that such occurrences are not experienced. And then time delay of delivery of these things means they will not reach their market, and therefore the people, the owners of the trucks and owners of the goods will experience a lot of losses because the goods have not reached their destination on time. And then also congestion in such a place such as Busia runs a risk of health hazards and situations because there are no toilets and so on, like many of my colleagues have said. And therefore, I urge the two committees riding along what Professor Kamar has said to visit Namanga and have time with the
responsible CSs so that our talk here and our time here and our findings will not be just talks for the sake of it, but that change will be experienced because action will be taken. Thank you. I am in support.
Chair Trent, Senator Jumbo.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kunipa fursa hii. Kwanza natoa shukurani kwa majority leader kuleta huu mswada hapa. Pili, nataka nitoe shukurani zangu za dhati kwa kamati yangu ya trade ambayo jana tulienda Malaba. Natoa shukurani zangu za dhati kwa wanakamati wangu, Senator Mbugwa, Senator Mandago, Senator Mugatana ambao tulikuwa nayo, Senator Thabita, kwamba mlitupa umoja tukaenda mpaka Malaba. Mheshimiwa Spika, kusema la kweli yale ambayo tuliyaona kule Malaba kama maseneta wenzangu waliozungumza ni ya kweli kabisa. Kiangalia kuhusu barabara kweli, kuhusu magari kuchelewa kuvuka katika mipaka ni kweli, kuhusu habari ya utendaji wa kazi wa maofisa wa KRA na wenzao ni kweli. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Spika, yangu mimi sitakusema mengi sana kwa sababu yale ambayo yamezungumzwa na maseneta mimi naunga mkono kabisa na haya. Pili, napenda kutoa shukrani yangu pia dhati kwa siku ya leo maseneta ambao tuliungana tukaenda Busia border. Natoa shukrani zenu kwa dhati sana kwa sababu mmeamka mapema tukaandamana tukaenda pamoja na maguu paka border, tumeyaona ya Busia na yale ambayo yamezungumza Mheshimiwa Spika yote ni ya kweli kabisa. Ukiangalia choo ni kweli, choo kiko pale, kuna mtu ambaye anachukua hiyo pesa na choo venyewe havirekebishwi. Ukiangalia habari ya parking za mabarabara haya yaliyozungumzwa na maseneta ni ya kweli. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Spika, hapa la kufanywa kabisa kama sisi wanakamati au maseneta, haswa mimi kama mwenyekiti wa hii kamati, kwanza nataka ni tufanye joint kamati pamoja na interrogation committee, tuweze kumuita Commissioner General wa KRA kwanza aje pale katika kamati tumuhoji haya maswali. Hao watu wa Kendra barabara tuwaite waje tuelezee ukweli barabara shida ni nini, kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Spika, ukiangalia pesa zilipewana siku nyingi, contractor ambao alipewa contractor sio hakumaliza hiyo kazi, usini ufisadi Mheshimiwa Spika. Kweli magari yanakaa hapa kuanzia asubuhi mpaka jioni kwa sababu gani? Na ukisikia kama jana Mheshimiwa Spika, kama wewe Mheshimiwa Spika ungelikuwa wewe mwenyewe pale ungesikitika. Hii kamati maombi Nairobi. For what reason Mheshimiwa Spika? Sisi tunaomba kama kamati na maseneta wenzetu, sisi lazima tukae kidete. Hii mambo ya kuambiwa sijui barabara sijui nini hii Mheshimiwa Spika, sisi kama maseneta hatutakubali. Na hii kamati yetu ya trade na hii nyingine tutahakikisha kwamba hawa waziri atuogopi Mheshimiwa Spika. Waziri wa fedha taitwa pia ulizwe. Hizo pesa nazo kusanya katika nchi ni jambo gani zinafanya hizi boda zetu zipate shida? Why? Waswahili wanasema kwa nini, wazungu wanasema why, kwa nini? Kwa nini hizi boda zina shida? Mheshimiwa Spika, ni aibu. Leo utakuta magari yamejaa hapa kuanzia hapa mpaka kule. Leo Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi nawashukuru sana maseneta ambao wamerauka leo asubuhi. Tumetembea na maguu, hatukwenda na magari yetu. Ni kweli si kweli? Tumetembea mpaka na magari yameanzia hapa Mheshimiwa Spika. Tukiuliza ambao sijui scanning, sijui kamera, sijui photocopy. Mheshimiwa Spika, haya mambo yatakuisha lini Kenya? Kwa hivyo mimi sitakuzungumza mengi Mheshimiwa Spika. Yangu nimeona makamati na washukuru sana ambao tumetamana leo na jana tumeenda na tutakaa chena pamoja tuwaiti hao watuelezee shida ni nini Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa haya machache naunga mkono sana majority leader kuleta hii motion. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Thank you very much.
Asante mwenyekiti. Mwenyekiti wa kamati ya biashara, umeongea vizuri lakini kitu moja uliongea uongo. Ukasema mimi nikisikiza wale nitalia. Kusema kweli wazee wa Njuri Ncheke ya wali hawezi kulia. Sababu hao ni wanatuliza wale wanalia. Unawashika vizuri ndio waache kulia. Senator Consolata, we have some minutes for maybe 2-3. You can share the time, the three of you, Senator Consolata, Senator Mofaya, and Senator Kavindu. You can share those 10 minutes and 3 minutes each.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute towards this motion by the Leader of Majority, Senator Aaron Cheriot. I happened to pay my maiden visit under the Committee of National Cohesion yesterday, and I want to concur with the rest of the speakers that there are a lot of challenges at the border, and I think this applies to all the borders. What I would like to contribute maybe is a concern about sanitation, security, and the goodwill of our fathers of state, or rather the heads of state of the member countries, that there is need to foster economic diplomacy so as to harness bilateral ties amongst these countries. There is a lot at the borders that is happening, and in my perspective, I feel whatever challenges that are experienced at Busia border are the same challenges at Namanga and other border posts in Kenya. So there is need for our leaders, including the governors, the county assemblies, through the Constitution of Kenya. I know there are those articles that envisage the purpose of public participation, and I think it is done at the parliament, at the county assemblies, and even at the counties during. Speaker, I beg for your protection. Thank you, Bwana Speaker. That is baptism by fire. I take it positively. So I was deliberating much on the issues that are surrounding our border posts. But we tend to have a lot in written, but the implementation bit is a little bit tricky. So I would like to urge our leaders maybe to pull the wider spectrum of all the economic tools that we have in our countries so that we are able to realize this. Otherwise, it will remain as a status quo in not implementing whatever we discuss. And therefore, this powerful house demands that we focus so much on implementation by pushing the relevant ministries or the relevant authorities to make it happen. I was at the border, and let me not quote what the first senator talked of, trying to cry. I'll not cry. A woman will always remain strong. She has the tenacity as a key leadership tool to overcome the challenges. And I also discovered one thing, because we met 24 sector leaders, and I tend to believe that the outcomes given were sector related, and therefore we need to compile them, consolidate them, and maybe have a wrap-up of the common aspects that cut across those departments. However, I also realized one thing, that the KRA department needs to embrace the AGPO directive, that is by giving tenders to the youths, to the women and people with disabilities. That is embracing DACPO, WACPO, and YAGPO. YAGPO means youth access to government opportunities, WACPO is women access to government opportunities, and DACPO is disability access to government opportunities. Mr. Speaker, I want to finish by saying that all borders are permeable, or rather pervious. So there's need for us to look for ways of actually implementing what we are supposed to do. On occupational health, I have a lot to talk about, because sport health is pathetic, and most of those officers are faced with a lot of challenges. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Senator Kavilu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. But let me first of all start by thanking the people of Busia for us to be here. And Mr. Speaker, I raised to support this motion, which is meant to address the systematic challenges facing the Busia-Malaba border, And Mr. Speaker, I've listened to every senator who has risen to speak, and we are all talking about implementation, Mr. Speaker. The committees that are concerned, I pray that even as they call the people concerned, that they will also involve the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for coordination with the bordering countries that we are sharing the borders with for smooth passage by the trucks. Mr. Speaker, I want to request that the Senate leadership, led by our Speaker and Majority Leader and every other leader, to sit and see how all the motions and even statements that we do at the Senate, including this one we are discussing here, will be implemented. Because we sit down, we discuss a lot of motions, we discuss a lot of statements, and even, and Mr. Speaker, implementation becomes an issue. I've heard people talk about coming here even before and discussing the same issues, but the same issues we are discussing now. Mr. Speaker, the biggest issue is to implement what we discuss at the Senate. And if we can have a committee of implementation at the Senate that will follow up all the motions that we discuss at the Senate and the statements, then that will make us move forward and not repeat the same issues. And Mr. Speaker, now we are at the Busia now, and we are discussing the issues of Busia. Mr. Speaker, I pray that this will be implemented so that the Busia people will see the work that we have done while in Busia now. Mr. Speaker, I want to request that the committee of implementation will be set at the Senate so that the issues can be done, and that the people, the honorable people of Busia, will see all the issues that they've raised at this Senate being implemented. I thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Mine is to insist on implementation of all the issues that we've discussed at the Senate. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senators, in view of the interest that the motion has generated, and noting that we travel to Busia to see how we can deliberate on no issues and sort out the issues in this county, I will use the powers conferred to me by standing order that 4-2A to extend this sitting for another 15 minutes so that we can conclude this business. Senator Mofai.
Capturing my Honorable Speaker, from the onset, I want to support this motion. This motion has generated a lot of interest. Honorable Speaker, it's unfortunate that we are discussing this motion in 2025. This motion should have been brought in 1970s. Honorable Speaker, if you look at the way we operate as the East African community, there is a lot of confusion. I've captured the sentiments of the Chair Trade and every other senator who has contributed this motion on the need to have a smooth operations along our border. You know, Honorable Speaker, the only way these countries, I think we have been to all over the world, where we don't have some of these stringent measures, where many people would find it very, 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 very impossible even to trade. It's very unfortunate, Honorable Speaker, that trucks would pile all the way, almost like a kilometer. There's a lot of confusion along the border. I think at the time, Honorable Speaker, the concerned committee should move with the speed, invite all the relevant stakeholders so that this matter can be discussed deeply, and we make sure that this motion does not find itself in the archives, just like so many other motions that have been processed through this House. Let's move with a lot of speed and make sure that whatever we discuss here, Honorable Speaker, today in Busia, It is something that is...
Sorry, Senator Mofaya, I kindly request the senators to remain around so that we can put the question after the mover replies. Kindly.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The committees that are concerned, Honorable Speaker, should engage all the stakeholders so that this matter can be addressed once and for all. It's long overdue, and it's a matter, Honorable Speaker, that should be processed for the benefit of the East African community. It's very sad, Honorable Speaker, up to now. We are talking about border issues. We are supposed to have a very free system where people can move in freely without delay, without any hiccups, so that maybe we boost the economy of the three countries. Honorable Speaker, it's important that this motion has been brought, and I hope the Committee on Trade, the Committee on Transport, the Committee on Devolution, the Committee on Cohesion should put their minds together and bring all the stakeholders that are concerned to make sure that we solve these perennial problems that are affecting our border points. So thank you, Honorable Speaker. I support.
Now, Honorable Senators, we have come to the end of the debate, and therefore I'll call the mover to reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank colleagues who've taken time to speak to this very consequential motion, consequential in the sense that it speaks to the heart of the people of Busia, to the hearts of the people of East Africa. Mr. Speaker, the senators have expressed themselves in one clarion call that things ought to be better, that we cannot accept this. But like they say, Mr. Speaker, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. You serve in these committees, senators. You serve in the Committee of Trade, you serve in the Committee of Cohesion, you serve in the Committee of Transport. The only way the people of Busia will know that you mean business is not by the flowery language that you have used on the floor of this Busia County Assembly chambers this morning, but by the very actions that you will undertake once we depart from Busia. If, and I must say if, because I'm cautiously optimistic, Mr. Speaker, the members of this House choose to actually follow through with the reports and the proposals that will come, Mr. Speaker, from the two committees and the Committee of Transport as well, so that it can be remembered 1 or 2 years down the line that at least Senate added its voice and ensured that things got better after the visit of the Senate of the Republic of Kenya to these two border stops, Mr. Speaker. Then eventually we will say that it was worth the while. I'm sure the people of this county will appreciate, and the people of East Africa in general will feel proud of the Senate of the Republic of Kenya. I had mentioned earlier in the morning, Mr. Speaker, that even as we proceed to East African Legislative Assembly Games, Mr. Speaker, it presents us with a perfect opportunity to engage on this topic. I remember from the very first time when I attended the Yala Games around 2015, Mr. Speaker, one of the member states' parties during the closing dinner actually spoke very passionate about the desire of that association to be just beyond the call of sports and to respond to the issues that bedevil our community, Mr. Speaker. That it can be known that beyond playing netball, basketball, football, athletics, and the things that we do in Yala, we're able to speak to each other as leaders and say, this cannot be the case. We must replicate, for example, Mr. Speaker, and in a very fast move, actually, Mr. Speaker, I'll be proposing to the Committee of Transport, to the Committee of Trade, to the Committee of National Cohesion to pass one of the recommendations in the report that eventually, when we pass it, we share the same with the counterpart houses, Mr. Speaker, in the neighboring county of Uganda, so that our colleagues from that part of the world also can appreciate that they need to address this challenge, because unfortunately, even if you address the backlog on the Kenyan side, but it is not addressed on the counterpart side of Uganda, Mr. Speaker, we'll still find ourselves in the same spot. You'll move very quickly out of Kenya to get into another situation with the Ugandan authorities. And this includes many things that the transporters have raised, including the incessant stops and demands for bribes, Mr. Speaker, by police officers, and this is from all the way. Mr. Speaker, you have to sympathize with these transporters. Imagine a transporter who has to move cargo from Nairobi to north of Uganda, or even to Kampala, Mr. Speaker. They have to battle their way through almost 100 police stops. That doesn't make sense in this day and age. Even if it is security, even if it is whatever reason, Mr. Speaker, that you're trying to put it, there are more better ways that other countries have been able to deal with this challenge, Mr. Speaker. You either bond the company, you bond the drivers, Mr. Speaker, so that people respect the rule of law. The unfortunate thing, Mr. Speaker, is that we are also not very compliant as Africans in respecting the rule of law. And the only way to make a thick African head respect rules, Mr. Speaker, is that you must punish. People must see that there is punishment each time they break the law. What other countries do, Mr. Speaker, is that if as a transport company your driver overloads, Mr. Speaker, it's already set out what the punishment will be. And that company will receive an instant fine. That fine will be graduated. If it is a second time, if it is a third time, it's even higher. If you delay in paying, Mr. Speaker, you lose your license. So everybody knows and they play by the rules. They know that if the total weight load of a particular road, Mr. Speaker, is 22 tons, that's what they will observe, Mr. Speaker. That will remove all these stoppages and bridges, very archaic ways of doing things, Mr. Speaker. You'll never see this kind of weighbridge and toll bridges in other parts of the world, Mr. Speaker, because people have learned to be decent. People have learned to behave like sane human beings, Mr. Speaker. These silly games that we play with each other, Mr. Speaker, and people all try to do this or the other, you know, many times, even at our own personal level, Mr. Speaker, whenever, because you understand the African culture, whenever somebody calls me and they make a request and say, oh, Senator, you know, my lorry has been arrested by these Kenya people. So you ask what was the issue? You know, the driver did this. I say, okay, I'll look into it. I never move it beyond that particular point, Mr. Speaker, because what kind of behavior is that you're encouraging? If you have not trained your drivers to respect the rule of law, Mr. Speaker, you're spoiling our roads. Tomorrow, you'll find all those, the potholes that people are complaining from this Busia to, from Kisumu to Busia Road, for example, Mr. Speaker, is on account of that kind of behavior, overloading our roads, Mr. Speaker, and so many other behaviors that don't make sense. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I hope that with this conversation that we have begun here, we can have a counterpart discussion with our colleagues from the sister legislative arm of the Parliament of Uganda, Mr. Speaker, so that we entrench that which has already been agreed. We are not reinventing anything. These are things that are known. These are things that have been done across the world, Mr. Speaker, on how to manage inter-border transfer of goods and services, Mr. Speaker, and making them seamless. What is happening in this Busia and Namanga border post cannot be allowed to pertain beyond what it currently is, Mr. Speaker, without making a final decision. These meetings, interministerial meetings that we keep on having every now and then, of course, Mr. Speaker, we will never get to a point where we will say we have concluded on these issues. I believe even at the European Union Parliament in Brussels, Mr. Speaker, many times they are always there pushing and haggling about these issues on labor, migration, whatever. As neighbors, Mr. Speaker, there will always be new things that will emerge, and there will be a reason for people to meet, caucus, and try to agree. But of important nature to this conversation, Mr. Speaker, is that people can see the progress and can see that things are getting better. Let's meet and talk about more serious things about the East African community integration, Mr. Speaker, but not about how to make trucks move faster on a border post. There are more deeper things that we can share, Mr. Speaker, about setting up industries with advantages from both sides of the country. What is it that makes sense to do in Kenya, and therefore we handle? What is it that will make sense to do in Uganda, Mr. Speaker? Because Uganda is one of our friendliest neighbors, Mr. Speaker, and one of the countries that we get along so easily, better than almost all other East African community partners, states, Mr. Speaker. And we resolve our issues fairly amicably, Mr. Speaker. And it's my wish that we can resolve this matter with the quickest speed that is possible. So, Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, I register my appreciation to the members that have spoken on this particular topic, and I hope that we can be able to conclude. But like I have observed, Chairman, Transport Committee, Chairperson, what is this other committee, Mr. Speaker? Trade and Cohesion. The people of Busia are waiting to see you match your words with your actions by bringing a report to this House that will follow with implementation, send it to our counterpart legislative arm in the Parliament of Uganda, Mr. Speaker, and insist on full implementation of all the agreed EAC protocols. With all those remarks, Mr. Speaker, I want to register my appreciation. I beg to reply.
Thank you, Clerk. Can you ascertain quorum? Whether you have 15? Sorry? So, Honorable Senators, I put the question that aware that the existing policy frameworks, including the East Africa Community Customs Management Act, the EAC Common Market Protocol, and Kenya's National Trade Policy, advocate for the simplification and the harmonization of customs procedures and the elimination of non-tariff barriers. Noting that the Busia and the Maraba Mbonda posts are critical gateways for regional trade, handling a significant portion of Kenya's commerce with Uganda and other East African community partner states. Thus, the efficient operation of border posts is critical for national revenue collection, trade facilitation, and the economic well-being of the public, and more so residents of Busia. Further, noting that various challenges continue to impede operations at these borders, particularly at Maraba Bonda, such as severe congestion, inadequate human resource, inadequate infrastructure, including narrow roads, and insufficient cargo scanners, and delays in customs processing due to duplication of laws and multiple agency checks. On a market protocol, by impeding the smooth flow of goods, creating an unlevel playing field for Kenyan business. A market protocol, by impeding the smooth flow of goods, creating an unlevel playing field for Kenyan businesses, and hindering regional economic integration, thereby resulting in loss of potential revenue, business opportunities, and economic vitality for Kenya. Cognizant that urgent and decisive intervention is required to streamline operations, modernize infrastructure, and harmonize policies to restore Kenya's competitive edge and fully realize Kenya's competitive edge and fully realize the benefits of the East African community. Now, therefore, the Senate resolves that the National Treasury, the Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, and the Minister of East African Community, EAC, the Arid and Semi-Arid Lands and Regional Development, in collaboration with the Kenya Revenue Authority and the Kenya National Highways Authority, to develop and present a comprehensive action plan within 90 days to address the infrastructure and operational bottlenecks at the Busia and the Maraba Mbonda posts. Two, Kenya and the KRA to fast-track the expansion of access routes, increase the number of functional cargo scanners, and establish the indicated clearance lanes for perishable goods and transit cargo to decongest the border points. 3, the Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, and the Minister of East African Community, the Arid and Semi-Arid Lands and Regional Development, to intensify bilateral at EAC level engagements with the counterparty ministry to ensure full harmonization and the realization of the one border post OSBP concept. And 4, the Ministry of Roads and Transport and the Kenya National Highways Authority to prioritize and fast-track the completion of the supporting road and the rail infrastructure, such as the dwelling of the highway from Maraba to the interior, to ensure that gains at the Mbonda are not lost to domestic logistical bottlenecks. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of for contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable Senators, having concluded the business for which extended the hours of sitting pursuant to Standing Order 34-2A, the Senate stands adjourned until later today, Wednesday, 8th October 2025 at 2:30 p.m.